Hello everyone and welcome to SmashBoxxTV's episode number 54. I'm your host Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. Joined in our non-studio audience is Johnny V, working the controls. How are we doing tonight, Johnny?
We're doing well.
Yeah, we are.
I think tonight we should be NPR.
Oh, so that means...
That would be like talking like this while we interview people and players.
And a lot less inflection?
A lot less inflection.
Take the tone down just a little bit?
Just a little bit. We just need to relax. Or we could do the Saturday Night Live Sweaty Balls skit.
Yeah.
Which is more or less their thing. No. I'm going to get right to our announcement right now.
Uh-oh. You are?
That's too much action. I'm going to get right to our announcement right now. We are going to corner a new piece of the media, of the market, the internet video market.
What?
There is a segment of the market we have not been hitting. We are SmashBoxx. I think we need to do unboxing videos.
Oh, snap, unboxing.
So from now on,
it's my disc in a box.
We are doing Smash. We're now Smash Unbox.
So would you say open up the Smash box instead of step inside the Smash box?
We could.
All right.
So
what do you got here? This is from our friends at B&H.
B&H Photo. If you would like to sponsor us, B&H Photo, we purchase a lot of equipment and stuff from you, so please reach out to us at SmashBoxxTV.
Yes, we do. Oh, my favorite. Give me that.
Bubble wrap.
Best part of the shipping, of course, is some bubble wrap. All right, what do we got here?
So, first and foremost, Liebeck remote control for zooming our camera.
Oh.
So rather than using the rocker, we can now turn it. It's a little bit more professional. It works a little smoother. You can talk to some of the guys on the thing.
I don't know.
Awesome.
Pros use it. It's a little remote control, again, so that you can zoom a little more smoothly. And believe it or not, with our new camera, it's not exactly easy to zoom all the time.
No, the rocker is very, very sensitive.
All right.
We have this LCD hood.
Oh.
So when it's really sunny, the LCD, it's really kind of hard to see. You have to crank up the contrast.
A lot of times in videos or in shots, you'll see me actually like holding my hand up over the LCD screen trying to shade away the sun. So
yep.
What a solid investment there.
That is.
And
this is my favorite thing we're getting.
Oh.
A new Shure SM58 handheld mic.
Wow, that's awesome. Let's see if it works.
This is, we could plug yours. Can plug it in right now?
I don't know. Okay, yeah, let's do it.
All right. Now, what this is for is this is for handling, because what some of you guys will notice when we do, in our previous life when we were broadcasters,
yeah.
Now that we're unboxers, you would notice that Terry, when he'd kind of fondle the microphone, you'd hear a lot of...
Yeah, and some scratching and a little bit of thumping and whatnot. And let me in my defense say, for instance, when we were live at the Ledgestone Open, I was attempting to hold an umbrella, hold a telephone, hold a couple of other things, try and keep track of scores, and speak eloquently, all while holding a microphone. And honestly,
how many
it didn't work that well.
can you hold?
Hey, so I think how does this? Oh, okay.
So is that working?
Does that work? Hello, check 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, it might be a little quiet, but it's working.
Yeah, wow, it's very heavy.
It's one of the best mics in the business.
I believe it is considered an industry standard of sorts, at least on our budget. It is just that. So, yeah, you guys are getting it right here. This was the announcement, a brand new microphone for my big mouth.
Wow. Do you think maybe you could use that? What in the world...
Well, let's check the range on it. I don't know how well it works for everybody else, but when I'm doing this and if I'm pointing it at something, I wonder if that's going to make it sound a little better or a little worse. But when I'm out there, hopefully you're never going to hear me doing any kind of heavy breathing. I may be hustling around out there, but you're probably not going to hear that. Hopefully I just keep the mic away from me. But we've got some other really serious and major announcements.
No, we just unboxed these. Oh, it comes with a little thing if you want to put this on it too. Yeah, I mean, you could use that. So no, slide it. Come on, buddy. You're gonna break something. We just bought this.
I don't know.
The last thing we bought you broke was the quadcopter, and that's like, well, we didn't buy it, but it was donated to us. So
all right. Well,
now what are we gonna use all these things for?
Well, to help us with that announcement, let's bring in one of our favorite. You've seen him in a suit and tie. We're gonna bring him in just a moment. Jamie Thomas.
I don't know if they're... Oh. That's what we're missing. We're professionals.
That's our boy, JT, not Justin Timberlake. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. None other than our friend, Jamie Thomas. Jamie, how are we doing tonight?
Please hold while we try to get the call back.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Jamie, you ruined our flow, bro. You totally ruined our flow there.
Now, Jamie, we'll hopefully get him back in a second. He's out in San Francisco, and he's got Comcast, and he's been complaining that his Comcast service is kind of garbage lately.
I think he's the only one that's complained about that.
I'm sure he's the only one that's ever complained about Comcast. So what we brought Jamie, for those of you now who will probably take a wild guess at what we're kind of hinting at, I got the horrible delay echo. Terry said, wow, that was sharp.
Yep, you're going to get a pop. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
All right, we're back.
So, yeah, someone says, Matt Series, the SM58 is a bad boy.
Yeah, it's so bad it's good.
It's so bad it's good. Now, Jamie Thomas, if he is able to join us at some point, which hopefully he will, is going to announce that we are going to be covering, in conjunction with Jamie Thomas and Spin 18, Discmania, Innova, Jomez, All Things Disc Golf, I guess Hellfish, because Joe is joining us, Gary to the O, which he works at Target, so can we count Target?
Yep,
We'll
Target.
say Target. He is going to be, we're going to be working in conjunction to do the USDGC this year. We'll be broadcasting the USDGC this year.
What? USDGC? As in the United States Disc Golf Championships?
As in.
Wow, that's pretty exciting stuff. We know that a lot of people have reached out to us. We know that it needs to be done, and we couldn't be happier about it. Again, Jamie's going to give us some updates and details and give full explanation. Johnny V had just described a lot of the moving parts along with Brad Beck, the Disc Eye. He's going to also be there as well, covering some of the action. And as he said, All Things Disc Golf, doing some of the media and PR work, along with some of the written articles that you're going to see out there, are our friend Zach. So a very huge and collaborative effort, and we, in fact, are going to be, we're going to be live with it. And now, welcome to the show. Looks like he switched it up a little bit. We've got Jamie Thomas. How you doing tonight, buddy?
Doing good, guys. How are y'all?
Good, good. Looks like you had to switch technologies a little bit.
It looks like you've gone mobile.
Yeah, we've gone mobile now. Big shout out to Comcast for being probably the least consistent internet service on the West Coast. So sorry about that.
No,
I love the intro, though. The intro was great, even though I'm not wearing my suit and tie right now.
No, I swore after, because the first time I saw you in a suit and tie was the Insider show, and a lot of people were like, wow, look at him, he's looking good, this and that. And the first thing I thought of was your initials, JT, and suit and tie. So I figured we'd throw out, even if we get blocked from YouTube at some point for this episode, it was well worth it.
Well worth it.
I mean, who's to say? My wife's name is also Jessica, so it's, who's to say I'm not JT?
Yeah.
It's a good point.
Yeah, pretty much. So welcome, of course, again to the show. It's surprising. I believe this is the first time you've actually joined us. Is that right?
First time
as a guest
on
in
regular show. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I think we did it in Arizona. We did like the after round show once.
We did.
Yeah, first time unofficial.
Well, you are in charge. You have a very, very tall order. You have been working with UC, and you are now a full-time Discmania employee. And one of the things that you've been, I don't want to call it burden, one of the things you've been assigned is...
It's not a burden now. Ask him in about a week and a half. Yeah. We'll see how he feels.
You've been assigned to head up the media at the USDGC, and I know Johnny gave a little bit of the overview, but tell everyone what your vision is for it and what everyone should expect.
Well, this is really cool. I think this is a first, at least in, I'll call the modern era of disc golf. I mean, I know that the media for disc golf has gone a lot further back than I think a lot of people realize, but in the modern times, I think this is really the first time that we're putting a crew together and some names that everybody might know. You probably mentioned Jomez Productions, the Disc Eye, Brad Beck, All Things Disc Golf, Chad Lefebvre doing photography, you guys coming in and doing the live for the last 2 days. I mean, it's kind of like the Avengers all getting together. We all have these different skill sets, and we're used to kind of solo operating, and we're going to get together and really bring it home and try to do something a little bit more complete and a little bit different than has been done all year. So I'm excited for that opportunity. I'm excited to really like put this crew together and see what we can come up with.
Well, and we talked about it on the show that you guys raised the bar over at the European Open. Obviously, putting in more hands, you had more hands on deck, a much bigger budget, but more hands on deck, and just a phenomenal effort put in to create the Insider Show and to do all of the things that you guys did, including your live and your wrap-ups and everything else at the European Open. Should people be somewhat expecting, or maybe I should say, how are you going to differ from what everyone saw at the European Open?
Well, first of all, thank you very much. I mean, it means a lot coming from you guys. Put a lot of time and effort into this as well. So that recognition is, probably undeserved on my part and more for the people working behind the scenes. But we love that, we try to show each other some love, and that's all good. As far as expectations, we learn from the Insider Show, and, it's always a learning experience when you go out and try to do something new. Sometimes it's well received, sometimes it's not so well received. But we always take that into consideration and go forward. So one of the things that is a direct result of the change is we're going to try to have a little more of a full coverage where you guys are going to come in and bring the live in for the last 2 days. And, people really missed out on seeing that full round of action. And I totally understand why, being, a disc golf nerd myself. So we're going to have that, but we're also going to bring some elements of the Insider Show. We're going to do a taped version that's a little shorter, probably 10 to 15 minutes, and it's going to be a wrap-up each night. So if you don't want to watch the full round, it'll be there if you want to watch, the 30-minute, 1 hour, whatever cut. But if you want a little more of a wrap-up and a post-round highlight, we are going to have that for you. Try to incorporate some good interviews, top 5 shots, things like that we did before.
Yeah, and that's awesome, and I think that's one of the pieces of feedback we've gotten a lot, whether we were at the Maple Hill Open or the Ledgestone or anytime we were at any event, and when we had teamed up with DD and all the amazing, cast and everyone else that was helping over at the Glassblown Open this year, is people consume all of this coverage in a lot of different ways, and some people will consume, every version of it, and some people just want one specific version, and I feel like this collaborative effort that you've put together kind of touches on a lot of those different options. I feel like you have and you're still going to have live scoring that you're going to be able to watch, checking out the USDGC.com and the PDGA.com, those things will still be available. There'll still be I'm sure a live Twitter feed. Our boy Marty Gregoire, I'm sure, is going to be doing some kind of live tweeting, throughout the entire week. So there's just kind of every different, media avenue is going to be touched on. And then photography, like you said, Chad's work is second to none. It's, he's got great stuff as well, if you're into that kind of thing. So a lot of different ways they're going to be coming at you. Now, to clarify for everyone, and I know you said it a couple times, SmashBoxx will be there. We're going to be pushing our stream out on Spin's channel for this weekend, and for the week that we do it. And it's going to be live coverage for the last 2 rounds, Friday and Saturday.
Friday and Saturday, lead card,
exactly,
final and semi-final round coverage.
Yeah, and we're going to have
you guys put out there.
Thank you. And what we're going to do is we're going to have our 2 cameras out there. We're going to have our normal crew of 2 guys, so we should be able to bring you in. If there's a backup or something, we might be able to transition and see what's going on like kind of second card or something. But we're going to bring you the 2 camera coverage that we've been able to do this entire year, which we're really excited about. I know that was a place where there were some challenges I had heard at Worlds, is that people kind of missed having the multiple angles. So we're glad that we can be out there and be part of that.
Yeah, and we're very excited to have you on board, and that is a good thing I should mention. We are going to put all of the official media out on the Spin TV channel. In the future, I'll just go ahead and tell everybody, in the future, we've told you guys, we told Jomez, we told everybody that if they do any recuts, anything like that, then they can find it on their channels. But the Spin TV channel will be the official home of United States Disc Golf Championships this year. you kind of think of it like a TV deal. You know, you get to go to one place and see all the media. And I think the cool thing is you get to know that, you know, we brought a lot of people who really know the sport in to lend their talents. And I know I sound like a broken record, but I'm excited for this, you know, event. It's going to be really cool, I think.
Yeah, and this is going to be a great. You keep saying the Avengers, and I'm expecting some nice T-shirts with, you know, a really cool Avengers logo that everybody gets, and, you know, that's a nice outfit. And I will say this: I think you're probably going to get yelled at on our little Facebook media group because you're vertical. Your video is
boom. There we go.
Yeah, now you're
behind it. It's got all the tasks left to do.
Yep. Well, now you're sideways, but
yeah, no.
What's going on here? What's going on here?
I don't know why it didn't rotate.
Yeah, I think it's maybe. Nope.
No.
Bummer.
Unfortunately, not.
Oh well.
You do. It does come in more clear that way, though.
We're gonna. I guess we'll just make it like this. I guess it's working okay.
Yeah, it sounds great now.
Yeah, now you sound a lot better as well. I think maybe your mic is off of something.
So,
if people wanted to check things out, they should still be going where? USDGC.com, and that will kind of be the directory or the home base where they can then find everything out, whether it's the scoring or media, you know, different media outlets. Is that kind of still the place you're directing everyone?
USDGC.com is the official website for the tournament. It should have pretty much everything you need to know on there. And, you know, past that, Spin 18 and our channel Spin TV is going to be the official media partner. So we'll be posting all the content on there as well. And, you know, stay tuned to your favorite social media outlets. We're going to keep everybody informed via Facebook, Instagram, things like that. So, and, you know, I'm sure if you follow any of these guys that are with us for that week, they'll be pushing it out. We'll be all on the hype train all week long. We're going to make sure nobody misses this. That's the point of it all.
Yeah. Now, talk a little bit about, give some people some specifics or some guidelines. Obviously, disc golf has become more consumable, and people are showing up. And just like myself, many years ago, you know, kind of just showed up with a video camera. But things are tightening up a little bit, obviously, because of the efforts and the money and the energy, you know, you guys are putting into it, and then all of us on our end. But when it comes to the media policy, do you want to kind of give a quick overview? Because there's people that are asking as to what it really means to be involved or not, and then what they'll be allowed to do, so to speak, if you're not as part of this official team.
Sure, I'd be glad to do that. The biggest thing is it's kind of written in language that's getting closer to legalese, you know, and it's that we're not in the business of excluding people or trying to we're not discouraging people from attending. Kind of, well, philosophically real quick, one of the cool things that, you know, very popular people who have been filming disc golf, you know, you can name your favorite person, they've been able to make more money on it in recent years, garner more sponsorships, things like that. And that's really good for them. And I'm super happy for everybody that can actually make money off doing this, because it's a labor of love at this point. But at a certain point, you get to where, you know, if you're a sponsor of a tournament, you've got to protect your sponsors, or sorry, if you're the person putting on a tournament, you've got to protect your sponsors. You have to protect your investments. So the media policy is more drafted to say, hey, if you want to be a part of this, you know, please reach out to us. We can find something for you to do, but we're all going to work together. And I think that's going to be best for everybody watching too. You know, we don't need to have multiple YouTube channels filming the same groups, you know, and swiping views from each other. And it just becomes, at a certain point, it becomes a contentious issue if you're an individual videographer trying to get sponsorships and saying, oh, I have X many views, but I'm fighting with this other guy for views all the time. And if you're a tournament organizer, there's the obvious business implications. So it's not to exclude or discourage anybody from being there. It's just saying, hey, check in, let us know what you want to do, and we're going to find a way to make everybody work together and really get the word out there and get the media to that next level.
Yeah, I think that's an awesome idea, and really We saw a lot of that with Cool Daddy Slick Breeze and Bobby Brown, and earlier this year at the Glass Blown Open. And I have a lot of the similar sentiments where he really wanted to get everyone under the same umbrella and just make sure we're all on the same page and that everyone kind of has an assigned role and or specific thing that they're working on. And when a tournament director and or a media person like yourself can help kind of orchestrate all of this, it makes it a lot easier because, as you said, it's silly sometimes when there's 3 or 4 video guys all sitting on the exact same hole.
Everyone fighting to see who can get theirs out first, and whether you're an hour ahead of somebody, and it's not worth it. It's better to try, especially for an event like this, to try to work together and get one media umbrella.
Yeah. So we have to say. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to add on to your point that, when we've got such a great competition and everything for these players, if everybody's jumped up on the lead card, you may miss the dark horse coming through off the chase or something like that. And the other thing is we're going to have dedicated editors as well as dedicated shooters, as well as dedicated photographers, social media guys. So instead of us all, stretching our own resources super thin and trying to battle it out with the guy next to us, so to speak, people are going to be able to say, oh, I'm going to go shoot. I'm going to turn into this editor. He's going to help. So it really raises the quality of everybody by collaboration rather than, competition.
Yeah, and one of the cool things that is also worth noting for everyone is you're bringing in all these different entities, ourselves, and everyone else. And what we're all able to do per the media agreement is, roughly a week afterward, if there's other versions of things we want to release, or if somebody wants to do their own, stylized whatever it might be, whether it's a 2-hour thing or a 2-minute thing, every one of these individual creators can kind of take their own creativity, do what they want with it, and then also put it out still on their channels. There's just going to be a little bit of a grace period from when the last putt drops into that, we'll say a week-long period. So I think that's great too, because I feel like everyone still can carry out their own individuality in that sense as well, besides just collaborating to the to the greater good. So I think that's awesome. Do you see any I know you've had lots of conversations about this stuff and you've worked tirelessly with Jonathan Poole, probably the PDGA, UC. Can you think of any drawbacks to what you're faced with or the way you've assembled it, or other potential drawbacks that others may bring up?
My biggest the way I see it being seen as a drawback is if there's misunderstanding or a misinterpretation of what we're trying to do. I mean, I don't want to go into the he said, she said of the past, but we faced a lot of that as Spin TV when we did the European Open. Sure. We were hit with some things that were a little confusing to us because they certainly weren't intended consequences, and they weren't ever anything that was really remotely talked about. But sometimes when you don't put out the story and you don't make your intentions clear in a way that an audience can understand it, the story gets written for you. So that's what I really hope to avoid as a drawback this time around. I want everybody that's a fan of all of the entities that are going to be there filming to understand what we're really trying to do, and so the story doesn't get written for us, so to speak.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. And I think having all of us in the know and on a unified front and collaborating, as you said, I think is just it's just so critical to the overall success of it. So, well, first and foremost, Johnny V and myself, along with Joe and Gary and anyone else that's been involved on the Smashbox side of things in our short 2-year existence, we just have to say thank you. Thank you for considering us. Thank you for bringing us in. Thank you for, trusting and believing in us as a live broadcast company that, again, just after 2 short years and a few mistakes, that we've grown to where we have. And we feel like we've, worked hard this year as well. And we're glad to take it to the next level. We feel like this is probably going to be the biggest event, to date for us. And that puts a little more pressure on us, but it also it's really exciting for us here at Smashbox.
Hey, that's what we always look forward to, new ways of doing things that have always been done. I'm a huge fan of the saying, if you do what you always done, you'll get what you always got. And we're happy to have everybody on board, especially you guys, for what you've been doing, really hustling over the last couple of years. And we're just going to keep on moving and work together as a team to make this the best tournament ever.
So I got to ask, April 2014, you worked the camera for our SmashBoxxTV second ever production. We had Avery Jenkins.
We let our little butterflies go and look what they turn into.
we had this Avery Jenkins as a co-commentator. We had Simon Lizotte throwing massive shots with putters for our previews. You working the camera, and here we are a year and a half later. What do you think of that?
It's crazy, and I'm pretty sure at that event, I think my going rate was buy me a couple of beers.
It was.
You guys,
you got a whole pitcher.
I have
early adopter, man. Early adopter. In Bowling Green, Kentucky, beers don't cost that much. So I'm glad I could make it work for your budget. That's what I'm most happy about.
Disc Golf Rich.
That's right. I've got some great behind the scenes footage of when we were doing some live testing, all sitting around a table at the bar, everyone kind of talking, and it'll never see the light of day.
Maybe.
For the right price. It won't see the light of day in the future. I'm just saying, I got some good stuff with Simon and some Jamie stuff, so we're good.
Just wait till TMZ comes knocking.
That's right. That's right.
Yes. So. Well, Jamie, we're going to cut you loose. We do want to thank you again for not just the opportunity, but for the overall efforts that you have put in, and I know you'll continue to put in. It's going to be a long, I think we're almost exactly 2 weeks away from a players meeting, almost down to the minute. We'll probably be in a players meeting at the USDGC, and Johnny V and I and the rest of the crew are looking forward to being down there and making this the best show to date.
Absolutely, guys. I'm looking forward to it, and have fun the rest of the podcast, and we'll see you guys in Rock Hill.
All right, sounds good.
Thanks Jamie.
See ya.
See ya.
All right, that was Jamie Thomas, everybody. We appreciate Jamie joining us for our big announcement that we are covering the USDGC live. For those of you maybe that didn't quite catch that, we will be doing the final 2 rounds, so everybody gets their fill. And we are going to go ahead and grab our good friend Dynamite Vicich. We're going to get him on the line. So just sit tight with us while we dial him up, and I promise we're going to make this really quick with Dana. We know everybody's here to everyone's here to see us.
Yes. So we'll get through Dana real quick.
Yeah, we're not that they're not here to see Dana, but they're really here to see us. And
get real.
Dana, he slows the show down.
Come on. All right, welcome to the show.
Our favorite bearded brother.
Yeah, well, the bearded brother guys are really good to us.
Yeah.
So we do appreciate them, but our favorite checkered flag open champion.
Yep.
Dana Vicich. Dana, how does it feel? Champ, tell me how it feels.
Well, it feels pretty good. Don't steal my thunder. That was the only tournament I was going to talk about tonight.
Well, good. I want to hear every throw, every single shot.
Yep. Can you do it in about 5 to 10 minutes? Just go through your round quick. And yeah, because we're going to skip the Green Mountain Championship because Terry was there. What else do you're going to talk about the Checkered Flag Open?
Sure. Yeah. I'll start there. It was a B tier run by Marty Gregoire.
Media Marty?
Yeah.
The PDGA's Media Marty.
Yep. Self-proclaimed most handsome TD ever.
Wow.
Again, self-proclaimed, not from myself.
No.
He's pretty handsome though. But yeah, DG Mike and myself took a little trip over to Indy on Friday night. Stayed at Media Marty's house. Thank you, Marty and family. And yeah, played in a little B tier Saturday. Actually, not a little. There was like 100 people. It was full. It filled up early in the week. So, yeah. Long story short, I threw fewer times than everybody else, and I won.
Man, it doesn't get any better than that, does it?
No.
I mean, winning out at, say, the Green Mountain Championships in Vermont might have been a little bit better, but, you got to stay local. You got to hang out with your boy DG Mike. You got to hang out with Media Marty from the PDGA, and then you got to stomp on a few of your Midwestern buddies. Who else did you stomp on?
Oh, I mean,
No, let's hear it.
You won by 3 strokes. That's crushing. Let's just put it this way: you beat DG Mike by 9 strokes
per round. Oh no, over just
just over.
Okay.
I mean,
and Paul Oman.
Ooh.
Oh man, is more like it on that one. Paul Oman, what happened,
change his
buddy?
name to Paul. Ouch.
Yeah.
You know what? I think Paul Oman could use a big hug. I'm gonna give him a big hug because it wasn't quite his day over in Indianapolis.
Wow.
But he was out there having a good time. He was still smiling, so that was good to see. And hopefully he shakes it off. And I think he's taking this weekend off, and he's gonna head over to Winthrop for the Monday qualifying and see if he can get himself qualified.
Looks like Nate Heinold maybe took the weekend off, or did he just really play that poorly? Because you beat Nate by 22 strokes. I'm just going to throw that out there.
Oh, well, in
11
his defense,
a round,
there was
literally
25 holes per round. So we played 50 holes. So
okay, so you beat him on half the holes.
Yeah.
Yeah, which is better than 36 of the holes. That would have been
that would have been a little more embarrassing. You beat Jeff Bennett, who's a solid 998 player. It's not like you walked into some small little B tier where there's nobody there. You played against some solid competition.
Yeah, you held your own. Jeff Bennett at 998 and Matthew Kern, obviously solid player, 991.
Aaron Walther, he's a great player out of St. Louis. He's actually a really good athlete. He's a right-hander and hurt his shoulder, and he plays lefty now, and he's a 987 rated. He's
and he finished just 3 strokes behind you?
Yeah,
he picked up left-handed just this weekend. That's the crazy part.
No.
And he putts with his foot.
Trevor Harbolt was there.
Yep.
Trevor won an A-tier this year. He was one of the many first-time A-tier winners that we've seen in 2015. We actually have a few others from this weekend.
Really?
A couple first-timers.
Oh, yeah. I know one of them.
Yeah, Ricky Wysocki won his first. No. Let's move on from Indianapolis. As much as I love talking about myself,
congratulations, Dana.
Yeah, congratulations.
A win is a win, whether it was 2 people to beat or 22 people or anything in between. Solid play, and congratulations.
Before you move on, what was your last win before this event?
I think I won one tournament last year in Rockford, Illinois.
Okay. Maybe
the Illinois Open Series or Plastic Addicts and Johnny Harrison, Plastic Addicts Classic, something along the lines of that. But I haven't been winning a whole lot of tournaments the last couple of years. Played a lot of big tournaments, but then didn't come home and hold it down locally. So it felt good to get first place. I'm not gonna lie.
No, somebody's got to win. It might as well be you, right?
All right, let's move on to another event. What else you got for us?
Yeah, let's talk about the 2015 Outlaws, which was an A-tier in Round Rock, Texas. And as I mentioned earlier, we had another first-time A-tier winner this weekend, and young man, or maybe an old man. I have no idea who he is, but his name is Mando Flores.
Okay.
964 rated,
Wow.
PDGA number 44222. So he's playing under par with his PDGA number. And Mando picked himself up a cool $1,000. He won a playoff over Kevin Bates. And, surprisingly, Bradley Williams finished in a tie for third. It seems like he came off suspension playing pretty hot at a few of the bigger events, and now he's back in Texas and really hasn't been playing the normal Bradley Williams-esque golf. But Bradley finished in third, so kind of a surprise. He generally dominates in Texas, but I guess it was Mando Flores' week, and big congrats to you, Mando.
Yeah, shooting 10-20, 10-12, 10-18 golf, that'll usually get you top 5 almost at any A tier. But
averaged about 10-17 or so golf for the weekend. That's solid golf and beating out some pretty solid competition. Like you said, Williams, Matt Hall, and a bunch of other high 990, 995, 999 kind of guys. So congratulations, Mando.
Yep. Way to be, way to be. And then this one wasn't so much of a surprise. we're moving all the way to the East Coast, right outside of Philadelphia, to the Eric C. Yetter Champions Cup. Great event. I think I played in it 3 times, and it's at the beautiful Tyler State Park. The club there does a great job. John Burkham, Big Dog, that's where he used to run events out of, and obviously he's with the PDGA now as the tour manager. But winning over Jeremy Colling was Andrew Fish. Now I don't want to, I didn't really want to brag about winning that tournament earlier, but I'll brag about this one. I think a few podcasts back, more than a few probably, but I talked about Andrew Fish, and I've probably talked about him a few times, saying that watch out, he's a great player and he's going to win. And sure enough, this weekend he won.
Yeah, playing again against some pretty solid competition.
Yeah, I mean he started out a little slow in that first round, shooting only a 997 when some of the other guys were above 1,000. He was 6 strokes back after the first round, and then he came roaring back with a 1053 rated round, followed up by a 1040. So that's a way to finish an event.
Yeah, and that final round, they play 3 rounds at the event. On Sunday, it's a round of 27, and it's usually, and judging by the scores, they stretch it out into the longest pin placements.
Yep.
From longest tees to the longest pin placements. And Andrew Fish shot a 93. For reference, you could shoot over 100, and it was 1,000 rated.
I don't know if I've ever seen that.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible.
Well, you could probably look back to some previous Yetter Cup events and see 100 being 1,000 rated. But Mike Mosier finished in 4th place. He had a pretty rough weekend. Very surprising because he does play so well in the woods. But Mike Mosier shot a 101, which was 1,009 rated on Sunday. And Andrew Fish, as I said, shot a 93, which was only 1040 rated. I'm sure that round felt a lot better than 1040 rated. It's an incredibly hard layout where you're just every hole, like hole after hole, you could take a 4, 5, 6, or 7.
Wow. Yeah, I've actually run a couple of tournaments on that course and then played that course a few times as well. And I said it last week, I believe, that is one of my favorite courses in the country. It's just an amazing place to be, amazing people up in Bucks County, and playing the long pads to the C positions just kind of almost makes my arm hurt just thinking about it. So, I mean, if you think about it, like you said, going out and playing and throwing over 100 strokes and still have it be rated over 1,000, that's pretty amazing. That's a lot of tough golf. Can you think of the last event where you threw over 100? Have you ever played an event where you've thrown, where at the end of the score, it's triple digits? I never have. I don't believe even in my worst AM days playing some tough courses, I don't think I ever broke 100. No, I mean, it would almost have to be hopefully a 27 hole course. I've had some bad rounds that have felt like it. I don't believe that I ever have. How about you, Dana? Can you ever think of a round over 100? Maybe outside of there? Because I'm guessing. I was trying to think back to actually the Yetter, and I believe the years that I played when there's 27 holes, I did shoot pretty well that final round and kept it under 100. I don't think I've posted higher than a 99. Okay. Hey, that's something to be said. Keep it. You've got your standards. Yes. Yeah, I got that. I can hang my hat on. Oh, I can't imagine how. I'm sure maybe it doesn't feel that way, but even if you're throwing over 100, even if you're having an okay round, that's got to feel tough. Like, I'm in the hundreds at this point. Yeah. Like, yeah. I know it's a long, tough course and everyone's up there, but it's got to feel different than a regular 27-hole course. Because we play some 27-hole courses around here, and you're shooting in the 80s, 70s, 60s even. Yeah. 60s if you're hot. But speaking of nines, do I see 3 nines in your player profile? Maybe your rating? Yeah, that's old. That's old. That's old news. Oh, okay. Well, it was somehow wasn't brought up on Smashbox, so I don't think it was news if it wasn't brought up here.
I thought we did.
I don't think we did.
Yeah. Yeah, we've talked about this.
Okay, okay. Well, then we'll move on.
You're probably listening with your bad ear.
Probably.
More than likely.
The other things at once.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I don't have a 4-digit rating, but I suspect that, will change, I don't know, next week if PDJ decides to do their ratings update. I guess they were too busy last week or this week.
That's a shout out to Chuck right there. He's dropping the mic. I mean,
yeah. All right. Any other exciting stuff taking place out there? I'll say, before you go on, I would say one of the highlights of this weekend's Yetter was an excuse to see that Jeremy Colling profile picture re-emerge out on Facebook. That's definitely, would you say that's one of the more classic disc golf photos that's ever been released?
Yeah, definitely. And Johnny, you're going to have to see if you can pull it up for everybody out there to see if you haven't seen this picture. But actually, I think Jeremy won in a playoff that year over Steve Brinster. And that putt might have been from during the playoff. So
I'm not sure it really matters where it was from, other than the fact that it exists.
Yes. And actually, while we're on the topic, they played they, as in Scott Stokely and everybody at the Yetter Cup, played a pretty good prank on Jeremy Colling.
I didn't see. I saw the link to it, but I did not sit down and watch the video just yet. So
it's actually worth checking out.
Okay.
So you know what, Scott Stokely, go to his Facebook page if you guys haven't. Check out the Jeremy Colling prank. Jeremy finished in second, and he had decided the night before, for whatever reason, if he finishes in second, he's going to leave. He's going to go home and see his girlfriend before she goes to bed. So Stokely, during his acceptance speech, he won Masters, said he gave Jeremy's I'm screwing up the story, but Stokely had told Jeremy that it was completely fine to leave and not a big deal. And then during the award ceremony, Stokely tells this story how Jerm was all worried about leaving early and if it was wrong, and how Stokely said, yeah, go ahead. Well, then Stokely gave out Jeremy's phone number and had everybody from the tournament text him and tell him that he's a jerk and an asshole. And so Jeremy got tons and tons of text messages. They posted on Facebook, hid it from Jeremy, so people from all over were texting Jeremy. And then they post the Jeremy calls Stokely, or Stokely's buddy that they stayed with, and is freaking out. Like, what's going on, man? He's like, like this 2-minute message. It's classic.
Okay.
I didn't do it very good justice here, so that more the reason for you guys to actually click over on Scott Stokely's profile and check it out.
All right, we'll have to do that. And as you were talking, some of the viewers saw the imagery of the Colling throw, thanks to Paul Ulibarri's Facebook post where he had that photo saved so everybody could see what it was. So definitely a classic moment there for sure.
Yeah, that picture comes out a few times a year. But I know it's getting late here, and you guys got Ricky Wysocki, who I'm sure. How many people we got tuned in tonight?
Over
10,000.
Over 100.
Oh. All right, yeah. They don't want to hear me talk anymore. So you guys, congratulations on your big announcement. Thank you for not making an announcement about an upcoming announcement. It's nice to actually get the announcement.
I think Terry would have had somebody else not been in charge of the announcement.
Yeah, you're lucky.
He would have. I mean, we did tease it a little last week that we were probably going to make an announcement because we've known for solidly at least a week.
Yep.
And then before that, there was some negotiations on what exactly we were going to be asked about and things like that, and how it was going to work out. But we're really excited about it. So we're going to look forward to seeing you there. You know, I can't say I hope you finish poorly, but I hope you finish sooner so you can maybe join us on the broadcast, or maybe that, or we cover you.
Or you're featured in the finals group.
That's right. And then you can do commentary.
Commentate and throw on.
That's
the
right.
card.
Pros would do that.
That's what any good pro would do.
Yes.
They would tell us. We get sometimes yelled at for being too tight with the pros, talking to them and during backups and stuff. But we'll see how they like it if we're talking to you while you throw. Dana, you going to hit this one?
Yeah, Dana.
It's like 30 feet. There's OB behind you.
Yeah, I got this, bro.
So we'll see how people like that.
All right, I pray if I'm on the lead card, I'm definitely commentating with you guys.
All right, done deal.
Everyone here heard it. It's on the podcast. No go backsies.
Nope. You're locked in. You will step inside the Smashbox.
I believe in myself. So.
All right.
All right. You guys have a nice night. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, Dana.
All right. See ya. Good night. And since Dana's customary with the big hugs on it's a little somber but yet serious note, one of our huge Smashbox fans, just an all-around nice guy, a player from Wisconsin, had posted earlier today that unfortunately his mother had passed away. So huge, legitimate big hug out to Nathan Stauffer. Super nice guy, and again, he couldn't be any more supportive of what we do and events that I've run, but more importantly of Smashbox. So my thoughts, our thoughts and feelings and big hugs all go out to you, Nathan. Unfortunately, I know all too well what that's like, and we're thinking of you, buddy. So
we're gonna ring Ricky up here, and while we wait for Ricky to talk, let's
we'd also like to welcome, we've heard they haven't chimed in on the board yet, but we'll talk about him a little later. Simon Lizotte said that him and Avery Jenkins are up in Canada. And they're
Quebec.
They're up there watching Smashbox tonight. So thank you guys for tuning in.
That's right.
And if you're out on the board, let us know. As we're going to be talking with Ricky Wysocki. Hopefully get some good insights out of him from the weekend at the Green Mountain Championships presented by Discraft. And I don't think he partook in any, so I'll talk about it now, that there was a very, very unique special release, a session IPA that was a collaboration with Fiddlehead as well as Nate Doss, along with Smuggler's Notch and Discraft. So congratulations to Nate Doss. He was out there a few weeks ago. Him and Val were working on the recipe and literally physically brewing the beer and doing some of the hands-on
and I saw
labor.
Something that I was kind of surprised about. I'm not much of a beer drinker, so I don't. But I saw it was in a can.
Yes.
Normally, most of the home brewers I know use bottles because it's easier, I think, for the home brewing than any sort of can. So that's the one thing I looked at and I went, "Wow, did you had some?"
I did. Of course, I did.
Did you keep a can? That would have been the smart thing to do, right? To keep a can. Tell me you kept a can.
I have 5 cases, Johnny.
Do you really?
Yes.
Nice.
So those will be for sale, limited edition.
Should we sign them? And we can't. We can't.
Actually, Nate and Val.
Legally, I don't think we're allowed to
sign them,
sell them, or send them over state lines or anything.
No, I wouldn't do that.
Okay, good.
Contact me. No, so I had talked with Nate, and they had produced 400 cases. Was the magic number. And I believe they have all sold out. If they didn't all sell out the first night. I want to say at least like 300 of the cases sold out the first night, and then they made some available on the second night. So I will have some. Nate, actually, because I flew. And so what I had to do is actually I purchased them, and then I put them right into Nate's van, and I'm going to pick them up from Nate and Val probably this weekend when I travel to Ohio. So, because I knew I'd be driving to Ohio, and I could drive back, and 5 cases wouldn't fly or ship well at all, legally or illegally. So,
could you use that as a carry-on? I don't.
Well, they're liquid, and usually you can't. So,
but they're sealed. No,
they don't care.
Sealed, it's scared. Yeah.
Speaking of airports, did you see who I saw in the airport?
I did. I saw that. No,
should we clarify that later, or should we talk to Ricky first?
Well, we're still trying to dial up Ricky. So we had told him about 9:40, so we're a couple minutes late.
Let me see if I can reach out to him and make sure that we get him.
Yeah, Terry's gonna ping him up. But yeah, you called me. This is really funny. I'm sitting at work and I get a call from Terry, and Terry goes, "John." I'm like, "Yeah."
I'm in the airport.
I'm in the quiet. Airport. Yeah, I'm in the airport. I'm like, "Oh, okay, whatever." And he's like, "Where's Bernie Sanders from?" I don't know. I mean, I know he's a junior senator.
Yeah.
I had no clue from where. I knew it was somewhere on the East Coast. Didn't really, not much of a politics type of, not that type of politics knowledge. So I quick Googled it up, and I was like, oh, he's from Vermont.
Which is what I thought. I was confirming that, by the way. That part I knew. Yep.
And then you had said, I think he's sitting like across from me.
Yeah, he's at the airport, like checking in.
Yeah.
With no security, no one around him.
Yep. And that's what I asked. I'm like, well, are there people, like a group of maybe some security, maybe some like an assistant or something? And you're like, no, it's just. I'm like, I don't know if it's him. Then maybe. I mean, and you had said, well, then it's a great lookalike.
Oh yeah.
And then you had told me, oh, my layover is in D.C.
Duh.
And right at that point, you and I were both like, it's him. It's got to be him.
Yes.
So
it was Bernie Sanders.
Yep. And then you
specified. Yeah.
Then you asked, and you said, should I ask him for a picture?
Yeah.
Because you weren't sure.
Yeah, I think it's
public person protocol.
Exactly, and that's exactly it. Is I don't typically run into a lot of famous people and or celebrities, they run into you or major politicians, and so I just didn't know what, if any, was the protocol. And so after a little hemming and hawing, he was sitting all by himself. And naturally, I was thinking, and you can put all politics aside, naturally what I personally was thinking is this man may or may not be the next president of the United States.
Sure.
And whether I voted for him or vote for him or not is totally irrelevant.
You
in my
have
opinion.
to vote for him now.
Oh, I do. Okay.
Assuming he makes it to the general election, you are obligated. You took a selfie with the man. That is virtually a vote right there. You might get busted in Chicago for voting twice on that one.
I don't know, but so I did want to get a picture with him, and again, he was sitting by himself doing his own thing. I had actually just parted ways with Ricky Wysocki because we were both rushing to the airport. His flight was literally in like 12 minutes. I had like an hour and a half, and so he went to a different terminal than I did. And so at the right moment, he stood up. Bernie Sanders had stood up to do to take off his coat or something. And I just said, excuse me, would you mind, could I bother you for a picture? And he's like, yeah, real quick. And so that's when I had my camera phone ready, took the selfie, took a couple of them, and then, that was that.
What would have been great is if you would have been like, hold on, and you whipped out your selfie stick. Yeah. Like, I got to put this together real quick.
I did. I literally had my camcorder in hand.
Yeah.
But obviously there was nothing I was going to do with that. But I got the phone out. So I do want to, right here and now, another late breaking news. He did not approach me and recognize me as the disc golf guy. He did not ask me to be his running mate.
What?
I know. None of that part was true, but I did in fact see him and take a picture with him. So just to clarify any of the rumors out there, he did not. The 74-year-old from Vermont, where they have less than 30 courses, he did not recognize me as the disc golf guy.
It's too bad.
Yeah.
You know who does recognize you as the disc golf guy?
Ricky Wysocki.
Hey, Ricky, how's it going?
Hey, guys.
How you doing tonight, buddy?
Good. How are you guys doing? I heard you guys were talking about Bernie Sanders. I just missed him at the airport.
Yeah, you like I said, you had posted on my Facebook wall too that, oh, how did I miss him? I'm like, yep, you went to one terminal and I went. Actually, I was following right behind you at the terminal, not realizing they had more than one, and at the Burlington airport, and the guy's like, don't bother getting your ID out. And I was like, uh-oh. Because he had my ticket in his hand. He's like, don't bother getting your ID out. You're at the wrong terminal. I'm like, oh, okay. So then I went to the other one, and like I said, moments later is when I saw.
How big is that airport that you were at the wrong terminal? I mean, it's Vermont.
It was small, but there's 2 terminals, and they're all of a few hundred feet apart.
Sure.
And so they had 2 different checkpoints and so on and so forth. So Ricky... First of all, I know I just saw you, 20-some hours ago, but again, congratulations. The 3-time Green Mountain Championships winner. Is it the Vermont views or scenes or water? Or
what is it there that you think that you tend to play so well at that event? Why do you, I won't say dominate, but
you dominate.
You did dominate this weekend, it seemed like. You won by quite a few. So what is it there that does that?
Yeah, well, I was talking to Terry about this in one of the previous shows, but I think it's just the whole vibe that Vermont gives off, the whole natural, nothing, the mountainous terrain, and just just you really have the way of life in Vermont is just so calming, and when you play disc golf out there, it doesn't feel like there's no pressure, nothing, nothing like that. So it's definitely a unique place to play disc golf, and I think that just that the fact that you don't really feel, you just feel free when you're out there, because you're out in the middle of the mountains in the Vermont, and it just feels like there's no pressure, and I just really seem to enjoy the courses and the vibe out there.
Now this year, one of the unique things that they had done is you've played the last 2 years on the Brewster's Ridge course, because that was really the course that was there, and I know they had a few holes from the what is now the Fox Run Meadows course, but you pretty much run the Brewster's Ridge course, and then there was a complete opposite design, so to speak, over on the Fox Run Meadows course. Tell everyone at home what those two different courses and how they were different.
Yeah, well, the permanent course that we played for the first 2 years was definitely the wooded of the two courses, and it was like I said, it was Jeff's first design. Jeff did a great job with that wooded course, but I think that since with the great job he's doing running and promoting the tournament, that he kind of needs to add an extra course, because I think the amount of people in the tournament doubled this year. Mm-hmm. So having an extra, I think he added an extra 9 holes to make it to where he was able to split it off into 2 courses, because last year previously we had played 9 holes on the Brewster Ridge course, or 18 holes on the Brewster Ridge course, and then 9 of the Fox Meadows open holes, and instead we just played to make 27-hole rounds. But instead of this year, we played 1 round of 18 and on the wooded course and 1 round of 18 on the open course, instead of combining them, which we did last year. So I think that was just he had to do that, and with the amount of people that were playing in the tournament. But I'm glad he did it, and I'm sure a lot of people that had played previously are also glad, because it just adds to the already the beauty of the scenery, and the course design is also great. So it's a double whammy there.
Yeah, there's a lot of options, and as you said, very tight, very narrow, very wooded on the Brewster's Ridge side, and then there's still some trees, but generally speaking, it's a lot more wide open, and there's a lot more room to throw out on the Fox Run Meadows course, including an 1150 foot hole. Is that what the par 5 is? Hole number 7 or 8 over there?
Yep, longest hole on the property, and it's definitely the toughest. So that's probably the signature hole of the whole property, I'd say.
And you had no problems carding birdie 4s both rounds?
Yep. Yeah, I seemed to play it really well. It being the first time I played the hole, I was kind of a little bit nervous first time stepping up to it, but I think after the first time playing it, I got a little comfortable with it for the second round, and I think that's the reason why I got carded 2 birdies.
Now, you were out there. You had an 1100 rated round on that course, and one of the questions that just came in off the board, and I already know the answer, but I will ask you as well, is do you feel like you left any strokes out there? Where could you have improved on that 1100 rated round?
Yeah, well, I definitely, just like most of the time, I can't say all the time, but most of the time, you just like most people, there's always a few strokes that you leave out there. And yeah, there was, to answer the question, there was a few. I'd say probably 3 strokes I left out there. But one of the noticeable ones was an out-of-bounds stroke that I took. I threw out of bounds on one of the harder par 4s and ended up making like an 80-footer just to save a par after going out of bounds. It looked like I was going to take a bogey after my second shot on the long par 4, because I threw my second shot out of bounds, but I ended up hitting the 80-footer to save a par. So, if I wouldn't have went out of bounds, there's one stroke, and then there was another stroke on one of the par 5s that I could have eagled. I still birdied the hole, but there was potential to eagle. So I wouldn't call that a definite stroke, but it was a possibility to save another stroke. So I'd say those are the 2 noticeable ones.
Yeah, and the 2 noticeable ones for me even is you, in all relative terms, you even kind of started out slow, in that you parred hole 1, which is a par 4, and you parred hole 2, which is a par 3, and those holes are both very gettable, of course, for you in terms of getting the birdies. So those are 2 strokes that jump out at me right off the bat. So to think you opened with 2 pars and still shot an 1100 rated round is something that's pretty incredible. Now, real quickly, I'm going to go ahead and give a plug and talk about the amazing job that obviously, as you said, Jeff Spring, the tournament director, but I also worked with Alex, Martin, and Zentau, and they were on the film crew. They are the film crew, and I was kind of brought out as hopefully a little bit of a complimentary or supplementary source to them. But the film that you're going to see and the video production that you're going to see that's going to come from this event, I think is going to be some of the best that we've ever seen in terms of video production. And yesterday I sat down in the studio with you briefly because we only had time to really narrate about a round or a round and a half in terms of the first couple rounds before we had to rush off to the airport. But you were excited. I mean, you watched some of the promos for that video and some of the highlights that people are going to be watching, and it seemed like you even got excited, and you already know what happened.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know, I'm really excited to see what the Smugs crew team, like you said, Alex and Zento, can do. You know, I already know what they can do from the previous videos, and just seeing what Jeff did with the tournament and just how he every year it's getting better. You know, it's the same goes for the camera crew because they're not exactly the most experienced with disc golf. They've done other stuff at the resort like mountain biking and snowboarding and skiing and stuff. So every year the disc golf tournament, at the end of the tournament and at the end of him filming and editing the tournament, he gets better, you know, every year, just like the tournament. They learn from certain mistakes, and, you know, I'm sure the camera crews do as well. So I'm just excited to see, you know, what he can bring this year. I've already seen a little sneak peek, but, you know, and like you said, I'm excited even after already knowing what's going on. So I can't imagine, you know, people out there that haven't seen all the action, you know, already like I have. So I'm really excited to see how it turns out.
Yeah, and I'll say right now, the plan is to slowly roll things out. Good, solid editing, unlike what you see from me typically, because I'm always more concerned about turnaround than I am about, you know, all the finer details.
Quick and dirty.
Yeah, a lot of this good, solid editing takes some time, and Alex has been doing just that. He's doing some of the voiceover. He's doing, you know, so many of the graphics and so many of the details, and everyone should be excited about it. I know they're talking about, Alex is talking about rolling out kind of rounds 1 and 2 will be more like a highlight package. It's going to have some of the best shots, but then it's also going to have a few hole-by-hole play-by-play along with commentating by you, me, and Jeff. And then rounds 3 and rounds 4 will be out in their entirety as well. So those are all going to kind of roll out in the next 3 to 5 days. And I know a lot of people are anxious to see it, but you're not going to be disappointed by what ultimately gets released. And I saw a question come in on the board. Yes, I filmed literally every shot of your 1100 rated round, Ricky, and one of the things that I'll be doing on my own, again, which won't look as nice, is I'm going to take every one of your shots from the 1100 rated round and compress that into it's like a 6.5, 7 minute video. So people would just be able to watch, you know, your 1100 rated round and how you did it. So it should be, you know, that maybe should go in the Smugs, you know, like how-to videos. Like, oh, come on, check out disc golf.
How to shoot an 1100 rated round.
Yeah, here's Ricky Wysocki.
It's just like this.
Yeah,
just do this.
Do this. So, so you traveled out there. I know Jeff worked really hard, you know, and you wanted to be there to defend your title again. But you did some traveling, and then you had some travel mates and some friends out there. Who'd you kind of hang out with or stay with for the week up there?
Yeah, well, Jeff got our whole house crew a resort. You know, it's basically a house, but it's in this Smuggler's Notch resort, which is definitely a destination of the world for skiing and snowboarding in the winter. But, you know, now Jeff is making it a destination during the off season and in summer, to where disc golfers and, you know, beer fanatics, you know, for the beer release that he did at the festival and all that other stuff. So he's combining all this stuff into a festival. And, you know, I think that's, you know, one of the reasons why the tournament's so successful and so popular is that, you know, you've obviously got the disc golf tournament, and, you know, Jeff's just doing a great job with you know, all, you know, getting us all lined up together with the bands and the music and the beer release. And, you know, so I think that's, you know, that's another reason why the, you know, tournament's gets so hyped, and, you know, is another reason why people, you know, are talking about it, and the tournament's growing so much, just because Jeff's doing so much at the resort. And as far as the housemates go, yeah, I was staying with Yuli and Katrina, which is the women's champion. So we were, you know, I think we the house as a whole did pretty good. I think all of us cashed, and me and Kat were champions. Yuli got third, and like I said, you know, everyone else in the house did, you know, I think got top 20. So
yeah, you had Eric from Discmania, Drew Gibson, everybody finishing very well in the cash, and then again Katrina, our women's champion, and congratulations, solid play with her. She was kind of battling back and forth. After a little while, it became a little bit of a two-woman race between her and Val. I think she was down 1 stroke going into the final round, and ended up getting Val, I think, by 4 overall, 4 or 5. So congratulations to Katrina, solid play. You're kind of taking it easy right now. You said you were. I know USDGC is right around the corner. You're actually back home, which you rarely are, in the Charlotte area. What's the next few weeks look like for you?
Well, I'm just, like you said, I'm gonna kind of relax after this last tournament. I was glad to defend my title and get home and kind of relax after that. So this week I'm gonna probably still play and practice, but and I'm probably gonna head out to Rock Hill USDGC course to practice and prep for the USDGC coming up in a few weeks. So I'm gonna kind of take it slow and take my time practicing, as opposed to what I normally do is rush into town, play a bunch of practice rounds, and then play the tournament. I'm gonna kind of play one practice round a day, take it easy, so that by the time the tournament comes, I'm not too burnt out and I'm really feeling ready to play. So I think I'm going to try a new technique this year at the USDGC.
Well, yeah, you finished second at the USDGC a couple of years ago, but since then you've had some issues. What is it about the course that lately has been has have you struggling?
Yeah, it's always been my my worst performance of the year the last 2 years. For some reason, I think 2 years ago I missed the cash, and this year 2 years ago I tied for last cash, and last year I missed cash. So for some reason, I don't know, I guess maybe it's the home course pressure, maybe, but I'm gonna try and block that stuff out and try and start fresh. But yeah, to answer your question, I haven't had my best performances these last 2 years, but I think also it has to do with my brother has caddied for me the last 2 years. It took me a while to notice that could have been a reason why I don't normally have caddies. And my brother's an exception, but I think this year I might have to fire him and go solo like I normally do.
He's like 2 feet tall. You're gonna fire the little guy? Okay. Fair enough. Cut off his allowance.
Just have him carry the water. You'll carry the bags, towels and water, and you'll be fine. Yeah. Do you think that? Do you think that you're now accustomed to all the new Latitude plastic? Do you think that's going to help you out at the USDGC?
Yeah, well, that being at one of the last major and big tournament of the year, I think by now I've played under all scenarios and under pressure with certain discs, and so I think that it being the last tournament and me having time to really dial in my discs, I think that's that's an advantage for me, switching, just making the switch this year to the new company. So I think that, I'm feeling, as confident as ever heading into the USDGC as I ever have. So I'm really confident in the discs and my play. So I'm excited for that.
Now, we're not going to have you give us every single disc. Some people are asking for that, for like an in the bag. But whether it's the USDGC or this last weekend, give everyone out there the top 2 or 3 go-to discs. And I'm already going to spoil them a little bit. I know your daggers, your putter, but give everyone else just your top 2 or 3 main go-to discs.
Okay. Well, yeah, like you said, the dagger's got to be my number 1. I've been putting real well lately, so that's my number 1. And then as far as mid-ranges go, I was throwing the Bard a lot. It's a blue Bard. I'm not familiar exactly with the plastic, so I'm not going to butcher that.
I believe it's tournament plastic.
It's a tournament plastic. Thank you. Yeah. So the tournament plastic blue Bard is I have 2 of those in my bag. And then as far as a driver, I've been throwing a lot of Felons, the Lucid Felon and the tournament plastic Giant.
Okay. That was going to be my guess. Felons, Giants. I know I've talked to you a few times, whether it's been on the live broadcast when we were, catching up with you or seeing you at other events. You've been pretty consistent. I almost always hear Felon, Giant are your 2 main go-to drivers overall. So for everyone out there, that's what he's mainly throwing. Of course, there's a few others in there. But
that's how you shoot 1100, apparently.
Yeah.
Felons and Giants.
Yep. No matter what the length of the course is, Felons and giants.
That's all you gotta throw.
That's all you need to know.
Giant felons, as someone just said.
There you go.
A giant felon.
It's not Illinois.
Hey-o.
Hey.
Sorry.
It wouldn't be a great podcast without an Illinois joke. So
Yeah.
Anyway, so you had kind of talked about being on the fence about Atlanta this weekend or that area for an A tier. Are you pulling the trigger and playing in that, or are you gonna just stick to other practice?
Yeah, it was the tournament. There's an A tier, the Augusta Classic, I think it is. It's in Augusta, obviously. And it's an A tier event, and it's only not too far from my house, only 3 hours away. But I think I might skip that in order to relax and just really get ready and get my mind ready for the USDGC. So I think I'm gonna pass on that tournament and really focus on the tournament I've really been wanting to win for my whole career, and that's the USDGC.
Yeah, and that makes perfect sense. And yeah, I apologize. I was thinking Atlanta, but yeah, it's a full couple hours east of Atlanta when you go over to Augusta, so I can understand. You stay more local. Tell everyone, for those geography folks out there, how far are you, being in the Charlotte area, roughly how far are you from your house down to Rock Hill?
I think we're on my house from a doorstep to hole one, probably about 20 minutes.
Nice. Okay.
20-minute drive. And then, 2 minutes to walk to hole one, so 22 minutes.
There you go.
We would go to hole one.
And everyone should know this, if you don't already. The USDGC is really set up, the USDGC Gold course is really only set up for a week or two leading into the event, and then it's taken down a few days after the event. I know they let people come out and play it on Sunday after the tournament. I think by Monday they're already taking it down. So you can go out there and you can throw in spots and in areas, and obviously you have the course dialed in, in terms of where things will be any time of the year. But if you were out there in mid-January or late August, you're not going to go out there and be able to practice the actual course. Do you think that has any advantage or disadvantage to anyone out there, or anyone that's maybe seriously in contention it doesn't really matter to?
Yeah, well, I mean, for me, practicing, I'm really just getting the distance dialed in and the muscle memory for my shots. And it's, not having the ropes up definitely plays a part in the mental aspect as far as the tournament play goes. But, for me, if I'm going to want to go out there and practice, if I'm going to go out there and practice, I'm going to probably play the tournament layout just because it's not, whether I'm playing, like you said, in January, just because, it's a hard course and it's tough either way. And, the shots are really, really good practice for most courses. But yeah, if I'm going to go out there, it doesn't affect me too much just because like you said, I know the course, I know where the ropes mostly, where they are pretty well. Okay. So I'm just going out there and mostly just, getting the distances dialed in and, the greens, if certain spots are skipping as opposed to others, because sometimes of the year that, the grass is longer than other times. So I think that kind of stuff helps, just all that little stuff with the greens and the slopes and how tall the grass is and where the ropes are. Sometimes the ropes are a little different, based on where they put them, and the rules. Like everyone knows that the rules are always different, to say the least. They always got to throw us for a twist as far as the rules go. So
well, and that was going to be my next question. Is last week we really briefly touched on some of the rule changes that have at least made it into the first draft of the Caddy Guide. I can't say all of them are going to stick or not. I don't know for sure, but they released a draft of the Caddy Guide, and it may be the final draft, but they did release a Caddy Guide. It is up on the site. Did you see or hear of any of the rule changes?
Well, since I haven't played it since they released it, but I'm definitely going to take a look at that before the next time I head out there, which is probably in the next, tomorrow or the next day. So I'll definitely take a look at that, and I'm excited to see what loop they throw us for this year.
Yeah, I would say the three, if I could, I think three that I think are the most effective or predominant would be hole one is going to have some hazard areas. So you could land, I don't know how far from the basket, but it looks like left and right of the basket, there's going to be some hazard areas that you'll still throw from that spot, but you'll be throwing with penalty.
Okay.
And that's right and left of the pin on hole one, again, according to the Caddy Guide. Hole two has a hazard area on the right-hand side up against the fence. And I had said something to Steve Brinster this weekend. I said, you know, there's a right-hand hazard up against the fence, you know, at 330, 350 mark. And he's like, oh, you mean right where my rollers always go? And so I'm sure that was, you know, obviously by design as well. And then I think the other big change that people will be talking about will be hole number 5. There's a mandatory that you must go over the water, and you can't go safe around the tree on the right-hand side when you're on, like, what would be most people's 3rd or 4th shot. You cannot go right. You can't play the land, so to speak, all the way out and around. You have to. I believe the very first tree is going to be a mando, you know, over in that corner, and you have to go left of the mando, meaning you have to go over the. Every single player will have to go over the water.
Wow.
At some point.
I mean, those all three sound like new rules, so that's going to be crazy for everyone, you know, playing, because all the people have been playing for all, you know, however long the tournament's been going on, which has been a while. You know, that it's going to be crazy for the people that haven't ever played those rules before.
Yeah, so we'll see how those affect scores. I think part of the overall reason is to try and just reduce scores. I think they want to see people shooting less. You know, they don't want to see 12s and 14 unders. I don't know if that's going to still stop anyone, but because you know, we all know if you're dialed in, you know, someone like yourself can birdie every hole out there with a few eagle opportunities. So we'll see what happens. We're going to take just a brief second here. It looks like we're working on a couple of issues. Johnny, tell everyone what's going on here.
Looks like for some reason the bandwidth kind of dropped down. Things are starting to come back, I'm guessing.
Okay. So
make sure you're not doing anything on your.
I don't think I'm doing anything. I'm surprised my computer even turns on. I don't know how to work this.
I know you don't.
So we're just going to give everyone just a moment to see if we can get back up to speed and up to par. Make sure everything's working all right here.
No, we can just keep going, because if there's any issues, then.
Well, then too bad.
Yeah, we've got a podcast.
Oh, that's why they tune in.
That's why we record everything.
Oh yeah, good idea. So they need to tune in. Where can they find us?
They can find us on SmashBoxxTV, or they can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/user/SmashBoxxTV, something like that.
Okay. All right. So, Ricky, it's been a crazy year. We've seen a lot of big things. We see people like Paul Macbeth going for a sweep of the majors. We've seen Paige Pierce win another World Championships. We've seen a number of different players switch from teams. You yourself, previously, you know, sponsored by Prodigy, moving over to Latitude. Has there been anything that's what would you say has been the most impactful, or maybe the craziest thing that you think you've seen in disc golf this year? Has there been anything that has kind of shocked or surprised you, or something you're like, whoa, you know, you did a little bit of a double take on, anything like that?
Well, you know, with the Sarah, I think for me, it's got to be the Sarah Hokum story at the Worlds this year. A lot of people, I don't know if a lot of people have heard about it, but that's probably number one, because, just the whole situation that happened and the scenario and everything. I think, with that being one of the biggest tournaments that us touring pros strive to win, and, just for that happening to her, when she was leading the Worlds and got in a horrible car wreck, that's very unfortunate for her. And, just seeing everything that went down at the award ceremony at the end, it was very emotional for Paige and Sarah Hokum, because, they just didn't know how to handle it. And so it was just pretty, I just felt for her, and, just trying to picture her, me in her shoes. It's just pretty crazy to imagine what she's really going through.
Yeah, you're right. And I think that was certainly one of the most heartbreaking and gut-wrenching and just, roller coaster of emotions. And I'm there taking, 150th place. So as a competitor, it's one thing. But as a video guy, as someone who's been involved in the sport and just watching and seeing all these previous Worlds that I've attended, it was definitely one of the just the craziest, I guess, all in all. And we saw Sarah obviously this weekend, and you wouldn't be able to tell whatsoever. She's fully recovered. Doesn't seem to have any lasting effects from that. She's at least never mentioned to me, my back hurts or my arms or my shoulders or anything like that. It seems like she's made a full recovery, and you're right. It was a pretty crazy story for sure. What some of our players talk about taking off. The USDGC, you said it earlier, it's the last major of the year. There's other events that do take place. Do you find yourself playing in a lot of those, or will you finally relax a little after the USDGC?
Yeah, well, I'm gonna definitely give the USDGC, all I've got, and that being the last tournament. Not that I'm gonna focus more on that than any other tournament, but I'm definitely gonna give 100% there, and see how it goes. But I think I'm feeling really good. But as far as after that, I think I'm gonna relax and take it easy. But I think I'm gonna play probably a few more events. I'm not gonna play as much as the summer tour. But there is definitely still some big sized A tiers to where they're still worth playing, and the courses are good enough to where I'll show up. So I'll probably play maybe 3 or 4 tournaments. I'm thinking after the USDGC, and until the end of the year.
Now, to give the guys out in Idaho a plug, I believe you went out there and destroyed the Idaho event last fall. Did you not?
Yeah, I played really well out there, and it was the debut of their tournament, and I won that last year, and I want to try and go back this year and defend like I did at Green Mountain this year.
Now, that event is not sanctioned, or was not sanctioned by the PDG. I'm not honestly sure if they are this year or not sanctioning it, but I know they're making another huge event out of it. I guess is that my answer? Does sanctioning not necessarily matter to you?
Yeah, I mean, there's it's a great place to be. I mean, it's obviously the money's great and all that, but it's location and the course itself is also a big factor, and why I want to go out there, just because its location is in the Snake River Canyon, and it's on a golf course, and it's actually the location is about like a mile or two from where Evel Knievel did his jump over the canyon, like back and I think in the 70s or 80s. But everyone knows about the world famous jump that he did. So it's just epic views and just a great tournament to go and kind of relax but still play a tournament, and very picturesque course.
Well, it looked like a really solid event last year, and like I said, I heard you had destroyed it by all means. Didn't you shoot like a 19 under on 18 holes or something crazy like that?
Yeah, I played very well. It was probably one of my best rounds, up there with one of the best rounds I've ever played, and it's unfortunate that it's unsanctioned to where I couldn't see where the rating was, but yeah, it was definitely probably the top 5 best rounds I've ever played, and I'm glad to do it in that course. And I think it'll still get noticed because they're mostly ball golfers that run the course, and they're into the whole course record thing, and they know how all that so it transfers over. The ball golf course record and disc golf course record, so I think it'll still be in the books, and people will still recognize it and shoot for that.
Now, that got me thinking of a whole other set of questions, but when you're out competing, are you ever thinking about any kind of course records? Or maybe I'll follow that up even a step further and say, does it feel good when you have a course record? Is that something that kind of sticks a little more in your head? Like, yeah, I just walked off that course and I just set the course record, and it's been there for a year or 2 years or 10 years. Does that feel good?
Yeah, it feels great. Sometimes, it just depends. Sometimes you'll hear people talking about it, and most of the time I don't really know until after the round, and I'm like, wow, I played a good round. Maybe that might be the course record. Then I kind of look into it, but I don't. I'm not gonna. Sometimes if it's like a casual round, we sometimes joke around and say, oh, where's hole 1? What's the course record? Just when we're playing around, and that's kind of something that we all like to start off when we're first playing a course, just to kind of get our confidence up and whatever. But yeah, it definitely feels good, getting course records and breaking course records, but that's why they're there, is to be broken. So it's really cool to do it when you're able to take advantage and have a good round and break a course record.
Now, I had met you back in, I believe, 2010, when you had won the Amateur World Championships in one of the junior divisions. Isn't that right?
Mm-hmm,
16 and under or 19 and under?
16 and under.
16 and under. And, within a year or so, was it less than a year, you were winning the PDGA championships over at the IDGC. Does that sound right? Is that 2008, 2007? It was very shortly thereafter. So I've known you. I've known you since your entire pro career. What have been some of the exciting things that you've seen spanning in that last? It's crazy to think it's been 8 years now, but or I'm sorry, 5 years. What are some of the crazy things you've seen or that has excited you most about the growth of our sport in the last 5 years?
Well, I think it's just, it's got to be the manufacturers and all the different, sponsorship jumps and, the new company with Prodigy. And, I think that's just, whether I'm involved or not, I think it's just great for the whole sport, the sport as a whole, having other sponsors. And I think it's, it'll help, big companies get involved and want to sponsor tournaments if we're having more than just one or two, companies, running the sport. I think that now that we've got like 4 or 5 big companies involved and, kind of competing, but, still with the, growing the sport in mind, I think that that's really going to help push the sport. So I think, with me coming into the sport, 6 years ago, like you said, I think that really in the last 2 years is one of the biggest, coolest things to be a part of and just watch and, see where our sport's going. And I think it's going in the right direction.
Well, that's I agree, and seeing our youngsters in the sport, so to speak, and I'll put you in that category at the age of 22, and seeing just so many young people come up, and then have these very successful careers, even at the early ages that you guys are at, knowing you've got a lot of golf in you, and I don't even feel like you've peaked by any means. Is there anything greater than a USDGC title or a Pro Worlds title? Do you hold those at the same level? I know the USDGC is the one that's next on your plate, but do you hold both of those in the same regard?
Yeah, I mean, a major is a major in my book. It's you want to win a major, and that's our highest tiered tournament in golf and disc golf. So a major is definitely a very big accomplishment. So. I'm just going to focus on one major at a time. And, right now, like you said, the USDGC is at on my mind. And, but, at the big picture, I definitely want to win a world title. And, I'm going to keep striving for that, as long as I'm playing the sport. So, that's the big picture. But in the small picture right now, it's really focusing on the USDGC and really just the next major I'm playing, whenever that might be.
Well, that sounds very practical and in your future. Well, we're going to cut you loose, Ricky. We appreciate you guys, you joining us. For anyone that's out there on the podcast, we realize on the video side, on the YouTube side, that it sounds like there's been a few challenges. And hopefully that just gives you another reason that if you want to hear Ricky and all of his insight, certainly download the audio podcast.
Or they can tune into the YouTube one later.
Oh, yeah, or you can tune into it later. It'll be there, too. It's just something with the actual live feed.
Just something with the actual live feed. Yep.
What do I not pay you for? God, rookies here.
I know.
Make this big, exciting announcement that we're covering USDGC.
And we were live for it.
Nobody could hear it.
Anyway. All right. Well, Ricky, again, congratulations. It was a pleasure watching you play this weekend and destroy the course. And I know that you're going to be back at the Green Mountain Championships next year. I think we'd all be crazy not to be there. It's such an amazing event. So congrats to Jeff and Alex and the entire crew, anyone that had anything to do with the Smuggler's Notch event and the Green Mountain Championship. So I look forward to seeing you in less than 2 weeks. Just think, you're going to be just about walking out of the USDGC players meeting 2 weeks from this very moment.
Crazy. Or
so. And you're going to be on your quest for that major title, and we wish you the best of luck.
Appreciate it, guys. Good being a part of the show.
Thanks, you, Rick.
Ricky.
Have a great night, buddy.
All right, you too.
All right, and of course, Ricky Wysocki. I'm just gonna say he is so hard to beat, and I watched this entire 90-person plus field try this last weekend, but with having that forehand and the backhand, and then making any putt from inside 80 feet looks so easy.
Yeah.
I was joking with Paul Ulibarri after one of the rounds, and I just said, it's just disgusting watching him throw these putts in. And I always think, like, wow, he'd just be good. He wouldn't be great. He'd just be good if he just made normal putts. But when he's, making 4 or 5 putts from outside the circle, or 10 putts from outside the circle, and 5 of those are from outside 50 feet, it's just amazing what that putter can do for him. So.
Yeah, he's He's a really good putter.
Yeah, you can just never. You
From-
can never think.
You can never
oh,
think I got this one.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm gonna pick up a stroke on him here, because he will put in an 80-footer without even thinking.
Yeah, it's never been an issue. We see that things are bouncing back here on the live side. It seems like
yep, everything's back. I don't know if it was just a Skype thing that was just sucking up too much bandwidth, or
Now you were saying, and we can, so to speak, date the show in the sense that it was over the weekend, I believe, that you said Skype was having some serious issues. Just worldwide.
Worldwide issues. I know we were supposed to have some big Skype conference for USDGC about introductions and whatnot, and Skype had on Sunday and Monday just worldwide outages. So, but clearly that wasn't this. We've got all of Ricky recorded. We will make sure that gets up ASAP. I'll upload it tonight so that it'll be up for everybody, hopefully first thing in the morning if you want to sit and listen to that. Or the audio podcast too. Both.
Yeah. We got you covered.
We got
ears,
this.
eyes, we got it all covered. All the major senses. Or something like that.
Yeah.
Let's talk about another competitor I saw this weekend.
Okay.
He had his fair share amount of fun, as I think he does no matter where he is and what he's doing, and that was Simon Lizotte.
That guy, he's sick.
Yeah, so Simon Lizotte released, and we've given him a hard time, obviously in jest before, but we've given him a hard time saying he's released a lot of his trick shot videos on Wednesdays, and it's usually like the following week on Tuesday we get to talk about it. So I'm not saying he did it just for us, but he kind of inferred that today when I spoke with him, that he released a trick shot video today using a slingshot.
Did you see the other one he did?
I apparently not. I don't
Seriously?
know.
You have? Oh my gosh, Terry!
OMG! Breaking news.
We've got
two of them.
Oh,
well, we're gonna have to show them to the world then, because I may not have seen what other one you're talking about.
He released what he called his, and it looked pretty legit. It was hard to see, but.
All right, well, I guess here on the fly. Oh, Trick Shot Tuesday is going great. Ever tried a selfie ace?
A selfie ace. So what we have, and I'm gonna put this up here so that everybody can see it.
All right, we're gonna cut over to it here.
I'll put it right here.
And is there volume with it?
There is. I had it muted.
This is what I call selfie ace.
So we'll watch it again. So what he does is he's holding the camera as a selfie. He throws it.
This is what I call selfie ace.
Turns around so you can see the basket behind him, and you hear it. And then my favorite is the look he gives, the little chuckle, the hand over the mouth, like, ooh, look at me.
Wow, that.
Yeah. One more time for everybody.
This is what I call selfie ace.
And I'll be honest, I can't see the basket. I'm not concerned about it.
I think it's this right here.
Okay.
The little yellow flag, and no one can see my mouse actually, but it is right over what I believe is his left shoulder when he throws it.
And then he turns around to get ready for it.
This is what I call selfie ace.
Yeah.
and I don't know. Obviously, you can't tell whether or not it's legit. But my guess is it is. My guess is it is.
He would not go as far as putting it up without it being legitimate. He's not out there to make fake hype or fake trick shots.
Yep. And then, so earlier in today, he did what, the slingshot ace.
The mini sniper.
The mini sniper.
Slingshot. That's what I call the mini sniper. Pretty cool, right?
Pretty cool, right? He says.
Here's a little trick for you. Got the mini slingshot. That's what I call the mini sniper. Pretty cool, right?
So,
yeah.
Simon. Very nice, of course. Solid shots.
Jim Brown says on the selfie ace, you can see it go in if you look close enough. I don't doubt it. Like, I haven't zoomed in or opened it up that much, but you hear the chains, you see him snicker. I think even he knows that was a pretty cool shot.
That's funny because again, that was broken here for me. I had not seen that earlier in the day, so pretty awesome by Simon Lizotte, doing the mini sniper ace as well as the selfie ace. Now I'm going to say, well, yeah, I guess with enough tries on the right spot, somebody could do the selfie ace, but probably not as far as he's thrown. I'm going to guess, and maybe Simon will chime in.
250 maybe.
It seems like it's... Yeah, okay, I guess I'd buy 250. Now, if he tells us it's 175 or he tells us it's 290, I'd believe all of that as well.
Oh, sure.
But I'd be... So now Simon, as I referenced earlier, him and Avery Jenkins and the Avery Jenkins family moving into Canada for a few days to hang out with, I believe Simon's uncle lives in Canada, and they were up there visiting him. And going to spend a few days up there. Eric and the Discmania crew up there as well. And so I'm not sure what the course is or what the hole is. Well, it says Lennoxville. I guess that's the city. I'm not sure of the course or the hole. But Simon, if you're out there and still listening, we'd love a few more details if you've got them for us.
So 2 things that I've seen in the past couple days. And one we really don't usually talk about. It's players' personal lives.
Mm-hmm.
There is...
I do.
Not on camera. we sometimes we talk about it off camera. There's a big thread about on Reddit regarding Paul McBeth and his current availability status. Put it that way.
For like sponsors?
What? No.
For his casual rounds, he addressed that recently.
Yes, he did say his casual rounds that you are not welcome to join him.
Shoot.
I mean, that's more or less what he said. Like, no, your best bet's to go online, watch videos of the guys warming up, or maybe go to a tournament beforehand and follow somebody as they warm up. You know, watch them how they practice and things like that. No, there was a talk about McBeth and his personal life and whether or not him and Jen are still an item. And normally, you know, you and I have kind of known about this for a few months. And it is recently broke that for some reason on Reddit that he is no longer with Jen.
You're talking about Jennifer Allen.
Jennifer Allen
from Oklahoma.
From Oklahoma, top pro, Jennifer Allen. So there was all sorts of discussion about it, but I thought it was worth bringing up only because it hit pretty hard on Reddit.
And what were I don't need every detail. But
it's not worth getting into.
Really? Okay.
Yes, there was.
I'm sure speculation.
Lots of speculation.
I'm sure
he
lots
said,
of misinformation.
She said, lots of misinformation. But just to put it on the record, no, Paul McBeth is not with Jennifer Allen anymore. He does have a new female friend, which is a common knowledge because he's putting her on Instagram and whatnot. So it's that. So for anyone interested, yeah. You're still not getting with Paul McBeth. So for our major, as we joked about earlier in the thread, our major statistic of men 18 to 24, 97% of you don't have a shot with Paul McBeth.
Yeah.
So or beating him for that matter. Yeah. So there was 2 things. There was that and someone.
So is dare I ask, because I don't frequent the Reddit.
No, I do.
Is it like no holds barred? I mean, it's a cesspool. It can be.
It can be. It can completely be a cesspool depending on what thread you're in. The disc golf thread is really good. I'll say that. There's not a lot of gossip. There's not. You'll get a lot of your, hey, I got my first ace today, and a picture, and then a couple, like 4 or 5 people commenting like, hey, what hole? Congratulations. So it's a lot of that. It's a lot of what seems like younger players, I'll say, out on Reddit. Maybe people that aren't necessarily in the know. So that's kind of what Reddit mostly is. And they repost a lot of our stuff. They repost a lot of Simon's stuff. Almost any video that's out there. A lot of the major events. It's one of my favorite places to go for major events because they have a great thread usually that will kind of lay out everybody that's doing something there, whether it's photography or video or live. They point to it. So that's one of my favorite places to go for these major events. The other video I saw, and it's somebody that's in our state, probably right at this minute, or if not on his way in close. Mm-hmm. Do you know who it is?
In our state for what?
Someone right now that is on their way. Someone made a video today.
Okay.
Discussing his sponsorship.
Give me a clue.
Any clue I give you, you'll get it.
Oh, okay. It's a him.
It's a him
discussing his sponsorship. Well, there's only a handful of Wisconsin pros
Not a Wisconsin pro.
Oh, I thought that's what you were saying.
No, I said it's a pro on their way to Wisconsin.
On their way to Wisconsin. Oh, yeah. That's
pretty
Scott
easy.
Stokely.
Scott Stokely.
Yeah.
So Scott Stokely addressed his sponsorship with MVP.
Okay.
And
in a video.
In a video, he asked, apparently people are asking if he's sponsored by MVP.
Because he's been throwing a lot of their plastic lately. He said that he picked up a few of their discs and went out and threw. They don't sponsor any part of our show. Why are we talking about? No, I'm just kidding.
No, I'm talking. This is more about Stokely.
I know.
So Stokely made an analogy, which was more or less something about. You can go out and watch it. That he saw some story about a hitman who had done a hit for somebody for the mafia. When they slid him the money, he slid the money back and more or less said, "No, thank you. That one's for friendship." I murdered somebody for friendship, because his outlook was bigger, and that's what Scott is saying, that he is not apparently. Sponsorship's a funny word. Sponsored. He gets no money from MVP, but he's throwing their plastic because he believes that they have some of the better plastic out there. Now, you can define sponsorship in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Getting cash. If they're throwing him 100 discs a month, that's a sponsorship, whether you like to admit it or not. So Scott's actually going to be in Milwaukee, not even 3 miles from my house tomorrow. I've debated whether or not I want to wander over and kind of go watch the demo, but we'll see. So
our Semper Fi Don Loper tells me that it was canceled for tomorrow.
No, Stokely canceled the Sheboygan because he said he accidentally double booked, but he had booked the Root River one. Maybe I'm wrong, but he booked the Root River one first. So he canceled. I saw he canceled Sheboygan, but my understanding was he was still going to be at the Root River tomorrow. So
those are a couple different courses in Wisconsin for all those not familiar. Root River, like Johnny had said, is a few miles from his house where we're at right now, and Sheboygan is where Barry Schultz is from. A good hour and a half from where we're at on the central east coast.
He is still throwing his own plastic, I'm fairly certain, but now he's also MVP. So his sponsorship with MVP is he's not apparently getting any money, and I have no reason to believe that he's lying, but his grand scheme is bigger, as he said. So I don't know what that entails, but it was something that he had released today, and I thought it was kind of interesting from a sponsorship perspective. You and I have talked about getting sponsorship, getting companies on to discuss their sponsorship, how it works, what players on average will get, and how to become sponsored. And we hope to kind of have a little series of different players, of different companies. So that was him talking about the MVP stuff.
Okay.
And and Jerko says, and it's kind of a good summary, he says, they are great. They fly better because I say so. And if that works for you, awesome. Some people say certain discs work better for them. More power to them.
Yeah. Well, there's some people are paid to say certain things. Some people go out and do it, and so on and so forth. There was something. Real quick. Last week I left everyone with a teaser before we went into the after show.
You did, and you were called out on it that there was no
no follow-up.
You had a teaser but no follow-up.
That is the best tease ever, to let it go a full week. No. Just one of the quick things we'll touch on is a conversation. We've seen Discmania tour around along with their radar gun. I've seen over at DD, they've had a radar gun set up. And one of the conversation pieces was, what radar guns are out there? What do you use? Go to our YouTube or our Facebook page and comment if you have any actual hands-on use or first-person knowledge of radar guns and discs. Maybe you own one, maybe you've used one, whatever. Please go to our Facebook page and put any kind of feedback you have. Or maybe you bought one at such and such website. It was $39.99 and it's horrible, or it's great, or whatever. But that's one of the conversation pieces that has been out there, and I think is a great way to spark some more conversation for people that want to know how fast they throw. So it's something that you can do. So radar guns, we've seen Simon do some pretty funny and amazing tricks, displaying the radar guns. And I think a lot of people like to know. I know for a while, if you went into the Airborne shop in Minnesota, they had a radar gun, a speed gun, so that people could tell exactly how fast they were throwing.
And it looks like there's a little thread out on Reddit as far as radar guns. It looks like you can maybe there's a few of them at pawn shops So if you have a local pawn shop, go out there and see if there's one if you're interested. Otherwise, it looks like some people can get one for about $70 for a good radar, for a decent radar gun. I won't say a good one, but one that'll do what you're asking for more than likely. It says here that Kale in the Airborne shop famously had one, and theirs was about $70.
Okay, so that's great to know. Thank you. I believe it was Wes that had brought that up, so thanks. One of our Smashies out there looking for some feedback, and if we can be a resource in that sense, we are glad to do so. We can be productive, believe it or not.
I'll believe it when I see it.
So one other thing I would like to touch on in terms of production and being productive. This weekend, I have all intentions of going to the U.S. Women's Disc Golf Championships.
Really?
I know for the last few years,
I didn't know that.
Last few weeks, we've been calling out all the women that don't regularly listen to our podcast, but we've been calling out all women to sign up. This is a PDGA major. It is a women's only tournament that is really set up and designed to create the camaraderie, the togetherness, the friendly, fun atmosphere of just women playing. And I'll say they usually get coddled or babied or catered to. I mean, they take care of the women. Every U.S. women's event that I've been part of or have seen anyway has always done a really phenomenal job of taking care of the women. And I would like to see even more women sign up. I know they've been trickling in, and there's been some hesitation out there. It's taking place in mid-Ohio, and I was talking to Val Jenkins this weekend along with her mom and dad, who will be out there helping out, Leroy and Sharon Jenkins. Nate Doss is going to be there caddying. I'm going to probably do some hopefully pretty fun or entertaining things with Nate and pick up his beer that he's delivered to there. So yeah, U.S. women's event. And here's what I'm also going to go out and throw out. If you or your company or your website, your club would like to support me and the women's coverage for this weekend, shoot me a message. If you either have your own commercial or a logo or something that we can do to give you recognition on my video blogs, I would be more than happy to do so. So definitely just reach out to me. We'll make it simple, straightforward, affordable, all that stuff. And I feel like you're not really as much supporting me as you're overall supporting the women's coverage. And I mean, you're supporting me in bringing you the women's coverage. So I feel like it's kind of a twofold win. And yeah, I just want to be there. I want to support them. Looks like I'm going on my own dime. All expenses out of my own pocket. And if you want to support the women and the women's coverage, let me know, or become a new member of my Patreon or whatever. But anyway, reach out to me. There's some options there for getting your brand or your website or club out there. So those are some things going on. What else do we have on your notes? You have that's the note sheet that you talk about all the time. It looks like we've covered most things.
Yeah, we pretty much covered everything.
Wow, damn, I'm good. No?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I just can't say enough about the Green Mountain Championships, though. It was a great weekend. Jeff Spring, and just being out in Vermont, it was my first time ever in the state of Vermont.
Yeah.
And it's as beautiful as everyone talks about. Recreation and tourism are their number one.
It's Vermont.
Yeah, exactly.
Gorgeous.
But those are their number one things.
Vermont in fall, that's what everyone says.
Exactly. And it sounds like because of the weather, we didn't get quite all of the popping, so to speak, of the leaves that we normally would see out there. Sounds like we were a couple, maybe even a week or two too early.
Yeah, I was going to say, it seems like I was up in Door County this weekend where normally that's the same type of thing. People go up there to see the fall leaves change and whatnot, and it's just a couple weeks too early.
Well, out there, it's normally here now. It is normally there.
Okay.
It's just they said this year it wasn't. I think they said it was exceptionally dry, even though it rained on us Saturday. But it was exceptionally dry and a little bit warm. Okay. And they said so it just hadn't happened yet. So that was something that was taking place. And we'll recap for anyone that is just somehow coming into this at the moment real quickly. We'll just say, long and short of it is SmashBoxxTV is teaming up with half dozen other awesome entities. And we will be bringing you live USDGC coverage on the final two rounds. Those are Friday and Saturday. I believe that is October 10th and October 11th, I think, are the exact dates. Let me double check that. Might be the day before. Nope, 9th and 10th. There we go.
9th and 10th, Friday and Saturday.
October 9th, October 10th, Friday and Saturday, the last two rounds, live coverage. They've got a dozen other cameramen and disc golf entities out there, including our good pal Zach over at All Things Disc Golf, along with Chad doing some photography, the Gomez brothers, the Disc Eye, all those different guys, Joe from Hellfish, and Spin TV, of course.
Spin TV, of course, which is kind of the umbrella company. And you'll be guaranteed to be able to find us. It will not be on the Smashbox YouTube page, or not immediately. We'll be able to post it up later and after the fact. But for the live, what we'll end up doing is put it out on Spin 18, and there'll be links everywhere. We have no problem sharing links, and you will be able to find it.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So, biggest event of the year, multiple storylines, everything from, Johnny McRae coming up just a bit short, mainly due to hole 17 last year. Will Schusterich is now a 3-time champion. And
I think one of the big themes is going to be Schusterich versus Macbeth. That's what it has been for the past couple of years, and I don't foresee that changing.
Yeah, it should be pretty exciting. Schusterich has all but owned this event for the last few years, and he's going for his 4th title. And Paul Macbeth is winless.
Why is that?
Why is he so good there?
Do you think it's not? I'm going to use the term, and do you think it's luck? Like, not luck that he's getting lucky, but do you think it's luck that he happens to win, as opposed to like 2 or 3 other guys? Like, he just happens to have his best weekend on this particular weekend?
Well,
or do you think this course suits him better than maybe some of the other players?
I think he finds
Or is it confidence? I think at some point you win.
I think he just digs down deeper, and he just performs that week more so than maybe any other week of the year. Last year, he talked about it. He had a less than amazing year out on the course.
Yeah.
But then it came together for him to get it done at the USDGC. So I definitely wouldn't, even throw around the word luck. I would just say that he's fortunate in that when he decides to play some of his best golf, it's at that particular event.
Yeah.
And he's obviously has all of the skill sets, and it's just a matter of putting them together. And I think there's realistically 5 or 10 guys that can really win that event.
Yeah, for sure.
I would say 5, maybe 10's even a stretch. But 5 to 10, it's just a matter of which player is going to do it with the most consistency over those 4 rounds. So.
Disc Golf Nerd asks, are the rounds going to be available in full afterwards? Definitely. Immediate. That's what we are going to cover, the live portion of it, which will be, your normal 3.5 to 4 hour round. We have, depending on how things work out and who's on what card, we've got the Gomez brothers and the Disc Eye doing post-round coverage. Now, their stuff will be cut together by an editor and pushed out as quickly as possible. I'm not going to say a time frame on that.
Yeah, but it'll be as soon as possible.
But it'll be as soon as humanly possible. So you'll get that all on Spin 18's YouTube channel.
Yep.
So yes, there will be post-round coverage of every round, not just the last 2, but the live will just be the final 2 rounds.
And I think you're going to see an onslaught of other additional footage, ranging from things like the Monday qualifying to the distance showcase to the throw pink event that they do, all of those types of things. I think you're going to see a lot more of that. And then JT, our boy, not Justin Timberlake, but Jamie Thomas is also going to be putting together and help put together the Insider Show, which is going to be a slightly shorter version from what he said than what you saw at the European Open.
My guess, and I was going to kind of jokingly mention this to him, but they basically, I think they're probably going to cut out Guru. They're going to cut out the Guru portion.
Maybe, but
I mean, they'll have some of that stuff, but my guess it'll be a little more condensed. Maybe the interviews will be a little shorter, and they're going to cut out Guru and kind of condense the stat portion, because Guru took up a good Brian Hoinger, for everyone that doesn't know who Guru is, he took up a good 10-minute portion of talking about stats and this and that. And my guess is that he is not going to be there, so they will cut that out. They will condense some of the other stuff, take his portion, move it to another area, and roll with that.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much they'll condense the stat stuff. It won't be him specifically.
Correct.
And maybe he will be there for all we know.
That's true. I have zero inside knowledge on the Insider Show.
Yeah,
I'm an outsider on the Insider Show.
Yeah,
we're focused on live. They're going to knock it out of the park with their Insider Show.
Yeah, so it's going to be a huge collaboration, and we're just excited to have any part of it. The fact that they would consider us in our short live stages of the 2 years. Although we've covered a ton of live events,
a lot.
We're just really excited to be part of it. So that's what you're going to see during the live broadcast, and then you're going to see things roll out from there. So very exciting news. We're honored, and we're just thrilled, I guess is all I can
Sugar
say
Free
about
says, what YouTube channel? Spin 18
or Spin TV.
Spin TV. But yeah, you can look up Spin 18, whatever. It's going to be out there. You will have no problem finding it. I guarantee it. It'll be all over Reddit. It'll be all over social media as far as Facebook. I'm sure, Justin Timberlake is a part owner of MySpace, which I'm assuming Jamie Thomas now will use MySpace because it's all tied together.
That makes perfect sense.
So, Illuminati. Anyway.
So that's all very good. Is there anything else that we need to cover for tonight?
I don't believe there is. There is nothing we need to cover. We've covered it all.
Some exciting stuff. Women's event coming up. Green Mountain this last weekend. Congrats again to Dana. And USDGC in 2 short weeks. So our plan currently, just to touch on it real quickly, is next week, normal show. We're going to have some special guests. I believe Jeremy Rusko is going to be joining us on the show.
Yep. And maybe Eric McCabe.
I know we spoke earlier of all the great things that we saw DD and the rest of the Trilogy crew do in terms of the Glass Blown Open, kind of helping set some precedents here in media coverage. So we're going to be talking with Jeremy Rusko and possibly Eric McCabe, it sounds like, next week. And then the following week after that is going to be an interesting show in that is the night of the player meeting of the USDGC, and it's so that'll be Tuesday night. I will likely attend the player meeting. It's a pretty special occasion. I'll attend that, and then I'll have to have probably my remote studio set up somewhere so that as soon as I get out of the player meeting, I'll come back, and then I'll be able to jump on the show with you. It should be just fine timing-wise. I'm guessing I'll be out of there by 8 o'clock or 9 o'clock their time, and their time it's going to be 10 o'clock when we go live. So that's what you'll see. So I'll be kind of reporting from the USDGC really the day before it's about to get started. So that should be a pretty fun and exciting show as well. So maybe we can get a special guest.
Yeah, let's wrap up the show. We'll talk about a couple little things out in the after show. We've got a couple questions out there that I think are more accustomed to that. So, Terry, why don't you close out the show?
Want me to bring it home?
I want you to bring it home.
Yeah. All right. So this was, in fact, Podcast 54. Amazing guests, amazing announcements. Thanks to Jamie Thomas and the entire Innova and Discmania crew. Also like to thank our recent winner of the Green Mountain Championships in Ricky Wysocki and Jeff Spring over at Smuggler's Notch Resort. Thank you to Dana for joining us, giving his insight, as well as his congratulations on his victory at the Checkered Flag Open. And for Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy, again, Podcast 54. We'll see you guys next time when you step inside the SmashBox. Hello?
Oh, we're back.
We're back. So back.
For a lot of people didn't even see us leave, but on my side, I start and stop the recording.
Oh, wow.
So, yeah, for the Ricky stuff, really sorry about that. I think it was a Skype. It was, for whatever reason, was sucking up all the bandwidth. Because I went upstairs and everything is unplugged. Everything from my Wii to...
Like MTV Unplugged?
Like MTV Unplugged.
Like we're acoustic. Joining us? Kurt Cobain. Right?
That's a little better, yeah. If you went Kurt Cobain or Alice in Chains Unplugged, I could understand. You went Mariah Carey Unplugged.
Her I'll Be There release was a pretty big one.
That's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed.
I'm just saying. I was a big Mariah Carey fan. Not a fan.
Yeah. I mean, you had a crush, but
yeah, that's a better way to put it.
You had a childhood crush on Mariah Carey. That's all right to admit.
And an adult crush.
And still, so, yeah, I got my,
It was a huge release. That was, if you look at all of her releases.
All of her releases, yes.
It was the MTV Unplugged. Granted, MTV Unplugged's releases, a lot of them turned out to be really big.
Correct.
That was one of the standout ones.
That was a hit right in the early 90s, and the 3 big ones that I think of are Pearl Jam, their Unplugged session, which was phenomenal.
Yep.
The Alice in Chains, which they released as an album, was phenomenal. And
Nirvana. One of Nirvana's was pretty big.
Yeah, Nirvana's.
And I'm talking
Nirvana's
specific songs.
huge.
I mean, obviously the whole Unplugged sessions were cool, but I'm talking about individual songs that then took off on their own. That was one.
That was, I guess.
One of my favorite Unplugs, though, of all time was definitely the LL Cool J. I was
pretty
a huge
good.
LL Cool J fan.
Of course you were.
All right, here's a quick after show podcast question for those tuning in live at the moment, tell me, what does LL Cool J stand for?
Oh my God, how do you?
Are you kidding? There's a lot of people that I bet you won't know.
I think if you're 30 and over, you probably know. If you're under 30, you probably don't know.
All right. Well, let's see. Normally, our pal Luke.
Yeah, the
is always on top of this, but Luke, we'll see if you know this answer. You're a little bit younger than us, Luke, so we're gonna see.
Durko was close, but really AJ Risley came in with the win.
Yes, congratulations, AJ Risley. You win nothing.
Yep.
But ladies love Cool James.
Clapton was a classic. You're right. That was probably the biggest one with his Tears in Heaven, Unplugged.
Specific songs, yep.
That was, in general, in Layla, I mean, his whole session was, it was one of those iconic Unplugged sessions.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Unplugs turned out to be really good.
Correct, but as a whole,
yeah, sure.
Clapton Unplugged was, I mean, you have to look at the ones that were actually released as an album. Like the Pearl Jam, even though I think it was released as a DVD, it was never released as an album in full. The Alice in Chains was, the Clapton was, and, God, there's one other one. And Nirvana was, Nirvana Unplugged. All those three particularly released as separate albums, all of which pretty good.
Yes, you're exactly right, AJ. You can swing by our shop, which we don't have, and you can pick up the nothing that you win.
Yes, pick up the big bag of nothing. So some of the questions that were asked, somebody asked, where can I get a Smashbox disc?
Well,
we are working on it.
Glad
like
you
literally,
asked.
Really working on it. We weren't before when we told you we were.
Well, I was kind of behind the scenes.
We've always been working on it, but we are working on getting some Smashbox discs. And
I would like to confidently say, so that's very not confident. I would like to confidently say that by the week of USDGC, there will be some stamped Smashbox discs. I may pick them up with my own two hands from the actual Innova factory. We know that recently Dana had some big hug Smashbox discs made up. He's got them on stamped on some Prodigy, and it just, the timing works out really well that I'll probably be touring around again in the Innova factory. I like to make a weekly visit, or an annual visit, I should say, whenever I'm down there, and that's kind of one of the perks of being a dealer is depending on the timing, you get to sometimes go hand pick plastic in the Innova factory, which
sure.
Don't get me wrong, it's always very cool. I do it every time I can. However, it's amazing. It's this enormous warehouse just filled with plastic.
Yeah,
and it's almost sometimes overwhelming because it's like, okay, there's all this plastic. It's like I don't even throw discs myself hardly anymore.
Yeah.
So it's not as exciting as it could be, but it is a lot of fun. So hopefully that week we can get some special Smashbox stamp stuff out to you guys and make it available.
Yeah, somebody asked also if we're going to get a new mic, and he must have joined the show late because we did a literal Smash unboxing of our new microphone, the Shure SM58. It looks like it's a really solid mic.
Did you get a windscreen with it? Shouldn't you have? I thought you ordered one.
I did order one, came with it. I know they had an issue. They told me that they had...
Was it on back order or something?
That the unless it's in the box, I just didn't grab it.
I think it was a separate...
No, there's a bag in here, so maybe.
Excuse me.
The XLR that came with this as well, they said they didn't have any. I told them I'd just send it to me. So if I don't see, I'll dig into this box a little more. If I don't see the windscreen, then we'll take care of it.
Sorry, Zach, you're a good 10 minutes behind.
Zach Ladwig, ladies do love Cool James, but not late Zach. So.
Yes, you're a full 10 minutes behind us, or 5 minutes.
So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this mic. I could beat a person with that.
I'm going to probably be
You could club someone with that.
Yeah, there definitely is some weight to it.
It's solid.
And, one of the issues, and we talked about it briefly earlier, just one of the issues is anytime you handle one of our other mics that I've used in the past, which are not, production quality mics necessarily, and they're meant to be mounted usually on a camera with some shock absorbers, this is meant to be handled. So, meaning when somebody's got it or they're passing it off or I'm walking or doing something, as long as I'm holding it correctly, like this I assume, as long as I'm holding it correctly and there's a good solid connection, it should reduce some of the annoying sounds that you hear during the podcast. Or during... All right, now, back. So some of the noises that you would hear during the broadcast, I should say, hopefully you will not hear during with this new microphone. We got Matt Siri out there saying the SM58 is a really good studio mic. Hopefully it's going to be a really good walk-around mic.
You guys hear?
Be careful how you do that.
Yeah, I mean, there's a little bit, but hopefully, we'll get that. There won't be too much fondling. There'll be more just kind of. Me and my girlfriend had this very same conversation. SETI? Girlfriend? Really? I don't buy that. I went this past weekend. Last week I went to a board game store. I bought a new board game. It was going to be my weekly pick called Mice and Mystics. Mm-hmm. It's an expensive game, but having a lot of fun with it. And the guy who sold me the game, his comment was, he's like, "Oh yeah, me and my girlfriend really like to play that." And I'm thinking, come on, dude, really? You can't fool me.
Anybody. Yeah, you're not fooling anybody.
All right, we're gonna kill this mic. We'll go back to Terry's normal mic. But yeah, this is pretty good. I'm excited for this. So, yeah. So if you're interested in a fun but tough to learn board game, like I had to literally watch a YouTube video on how to play this game. It's called Mice and Mystics. It's my 6-year-old loves it, but it did take me a while to figure out how exactly to play it, like a full run through. And the game is not short. It's at least like a 40-minute board game. So
I'm a big fan of Sorry.
Sorry's a lot of fun. We play that sometimes.
It's it's definitely a good time.
Sorry's a great time.
What else do we have out there on our board? Again, welcome. This is our after show where we talk about really the most random things, ranging from LL Cool J to
board games, to mics, to music. I mean, music unplugged. We will talk about anything in our after show.
Just about, that is.
This is no holds barred, buddy. You ask a question, I'm answering it.
Okay. I don't. Okay, that sounds good. What else have we seen out there on social media, I guess, has been the question. We didn't really talk too much about, I mean, obviously Simon Lizott's trick shots, always somewhat, it seems like, I don't know if this is fair or not, or if we're narrow-minded or not, but it seems like both Scott Stokely and Simon Lizott make our conversation pieces almost every week.
Yeah, did we mention, oh yeah, we did. I was going to say, did we mention Macbeth this week? We mentioned him at the...
Yeah, you brought up his girlfriend. Good job.
Ex.
Well, and his current.
And his current one. True.
Ouch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever.
Okay. Just saying.
So.
Barry Schultz, I saw one this weekend. The Craving Chains Classic, I believe it's called, or Craving Chains Open, down in North or South Carolina, maybe North Carolina. I saw that he actually went into extra holes with Nate Doss, or I'm sorry, Nate Sexton, and I will correct that, not extra holes, extra hole with Nate Sexton, where I believe Nate had posted that Barry had beat him on the very first hole. So congrats to Barry Schultz. Can we order online from Terry? You really can't in terms of anything right now. We're going to work on probably some more Smashbox shirts. And then the discs I'll also get out there and somehow make available as well. So we're going to work on having those available, but we don't necessarily have a specific online store because we're not really selling a lot of stuff, except for just great all-around podcasts and stuff. Anything new in the podcasting world? Any major updates that people should know about in the world of podcasting?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving forward, we also see out on the board, Mike Stradley is talking about the Canyon Springs Disc Dash for cash. We had spoken earlier with Ricky Wysocki about it. Ricky saying he's hoping to go out there and defend his title after he destroyed that course last year. And Mike, go ahead and give us your plug. I know we had talked about trying to get me out there, but I think that's coming up, I'm going to guess October 25th-ish, somewhere in that time frame. I know it's going to be in October, and I know it's coming up relatively soon. The 24th and 25th, is it that weekend? And we did ask earlier if it was in fact going to be sanctioned or not this year, so that was something that had crossed the conversation a little bit earlier. Oh, there it is. The 23rd, 24th, and 25th, Mike says. Zoe, yes, congratulations to our Zotron. She has won. She won out in Oregon this weekend. I believe I saw it. She said she was the 4-time champion of that tournament. Is what I thought I saw. So congratulations to Zoe. She said she was. What did she say she was working on tonight? She wasn't gonna be on the show.
She was doing some kid thing, teaching golf kids in Missoula.
Okay. So that was pretty awesome. Congratulations to Zoe. Thanks for covering the Outlaws tournament at Old Settlers Park. No problem. That's what we do. How about Will Schusterick's Instagram picture saying, "Who needs a gym when you have this?" I did not actually see that.
I haven't seen it.
I guess the question is, what is it that he was referencing?
Sure. And is that a direct response kind of to Paul McBeth saying, Paul McBeth had gone on quite a social media tear about all the
gym rat race, rat rant. Yeah, is that what you call it?
I don't know, but about the all the stuff he's doing. So
yeah, I mean, to me that sounds like a playful little jab back, especially in the context of, as you said, of what Paul McBeth had posted. So I would have to see that. I'm surprised that did not cross my weary little eyes today.
You are the Instagram guy, not me.
What's Instagram? Just kidding. Wow, my Instagram link. What? Somehow.
So
I do want to see this because depending on the timing of it, yeah, that very, very much sounds like a direct poke back, so to speak, at what Paul's been posting. Paul posted the other day saying he was frustrated that he was at the gym and waiting for it to open, and some people, Ragna, I think, called him out first and said, "Go out and run around. You don't need the gym to open." I thought that was pretty clever. A lot of people enjoyed that comment out of Ragna, and then he's been talking a lot about being at the gym and working hard and doing some other stuff. And, and I was gonna meet him, and I just didn't make it.
Just missed that one.
I just barely missed it. So sorry about that. You have to work out without me, buddy.
Someone chatted with us about how come we blocked them on the chat.
Yeah.
And I'm looking, and I can't bring it up, unfortunately.
Well,
and
there's blocked users?
I know, I went to that, and unfortunately it's just sitting there spinning, so maybe I have to wait. There's a good chance, and I'll say this. Sometimes what'll happen is these chats will fly so fast, and I try to write, and what I have to do is I have to right-click on someone and click on someone under a flag and go to block. And if for some reason maybe
it scrolled up and you grabbed the wrong guy,
and I might have grabbed the wrong person. So
ouch.
If by chance I did block you and it was possibly not intentional, I mean, normally I'm pretty good, but there's a good chance I may have blocked somebody who didn't mean to be blocked.
Ouch! Yeah, what a jerk.
But yeah, so I'll try to resolve that. So, so I apologize to the person who is blocked, who should not be. We do get hit with the occasional spam, and it flies through pretty quick. And
I'll say sometimes there's automatically built-in trigger words that YouTube sets up, and we can alter those to some degree. But YouTube actually sets up particular trigger words, and sometimes if it sees those, it may go ahead and either block your post or block you altogether. So. I don't believe that was the case here, but that is something that can happen. So sometimes if you're out there, especially if you're being profane, it will just automatically not show your comment. And I'm okay with that because I think I'm all about a good heated debate or conversation here. But obviously during our shows of any kind, we want to, there's no reason to get all worked up over stuff.
Correct. And
I'll get worked up, don't worry.
If you're smart, you can kind of nail those words and know what they are. So
yeah. Some other things that I found out there. Well, Ben says he won his second NT here.
William Buckley says you shouldn't talk about the Great Pumpkin. I disagree.
In New Zealand. Congratulations, Ben, for winning in New Zealand. That's awesome. Thanks for tuning in. We appreciate that. Do any companies allow dealers dealers, I think he meant to select colors of discs when they are buying? Tyler Durden. I wonder if that's the real... No. Companies have... All the companies I think I've ever dealt with, actually. I've ordered from every manufacturer we have at one time or another. And They do not generally have individual colors. They don't have individual colors listed on an order form. You could generically say on most of the order forms in like a special comment section, you know, I'd like lighter colors, I'd like darker colors. And even there, sometimes it's going to be what's in stock. And they, depending on the company, they may or may not totally adhere to that. I know there's been times, for instance, in Innova's warehouse that I've been to, I could pull out a box of, I'll just say destroyers, and look in 100 count box of destroyers and kind of pull back the box a little and see that 75 of them are red. Well, I could keep digging for other colors, or maybe I grab, you know, the 5 red ones that I was looking to stock up on, whatever the case might be. So it's going to kind of vary. I mean, if you specifically wrote to any manufacturer and said, and you kept it relatively simple, they may do it. Again, depends on the manufacturer, depends on what they have in stock. If you wrote them and said, please don't send any red, most of them would probably be able to adhere to that. But if you say, I only want blues, but dark blues, and I only want greens, but, you know, lime green, if you get too particular on it, they may adhere to it, or they may totally ignore that. I would not hold your breath. That's why I am a huge proponent of not pre-selling anything that may have various color options. So when somebody comes out with a new disc, and I may be getting 25 of the latest and greatest XYZ models, but I don't like to pre-sell anything because I want people to physically be able to see what color they're going to be getting when it comes to those things. Who is Paul's new girlfriend? That's not something we're at liberty to discuss.
I don't even know, frankly.
I do, but I'm not going to go there.
None of our business.
Let's see what else I can move up here on the list. Trying to go through all your questions. Please submit them if you got stuff for us. I like the no beating around the bush. I'm not sure what that was in reference to, but I'm glad we got to it directly. Whatever it was. Lizott's trick shots do in fact get crazy views. Yes, they should, because he's silly.
Yeah.
What about the PDGA's recent segments on Let's Get More Spectators?
I'm gonna watch all of them now that they've all been released. I was thinking this because I got the PDGA newsletter, and number 4 and 5 I think were in there. I believe it was a 5-piece segment. So now that they've all been released, I'll probably go through and watch them at some point. And
you mean read them?
Are they? I thought.
Yeah.
Are they? Oh, really? I have to read?
And I'm not implying that you shouldn't, but I think it's a 5-part segment because it's a lot of reading.
Okay. Well, maybe I'll take time.
And I'm the first. I almost feel like I've done a slight injustice by not reading and us not discussing them.
I will.
Why don't we both read them and then both make it a point to discuss them at some point? So we definitely need to do that. Those were written by our stats guru, ratings guru in Chuck Kennedy, who is one of the influential main driving forces behind your PDGA ratings, and he's also in the Disc Golf PDGA Hall of Fame. Thanks for covering it. We talked about that. Smashbox hoodies, that's a great idea.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on UC's questions about players paying? I think he means paying whatever.
Tournament directors?
Tournament directors. I think I chimed in on that, and I said that absolutely. I think we're at that point, and it makes perfect sense.
We're close,
and if you're living in the world where you don't think people should be making any money in disc golf, I'm going to say it, you're effing crazy.
Sure.
And if you want to get on, now I'm going to get worked up. If you want to get on your local TD, your local club, your local course pro, and you're going to nitpick and piss and moan about them making a measly few bucks on a disc or a few $100 overall, get your shit together and go complain at all these companies that are making money. Like, why the middlemen, who are usually doing the majority of the work, why they get just antagonized and just torn apart year after. I've been one of them. I'm going to say it. I've been torn apart for many, many years. Oh, he's trying to make money. Guess what? That's life. Like, making money is kind of how the world goes around, and everybody has to do it. Now, some people could be better at it than others. Some people can do a better job than others. I get all that. But disc golf is not free, and we've had this pay to play argument for forever. But even when disc golf, you go play for free in a public park, guess what? That course wasn't free to someone else. It's free to you now, but it wasn't free to someone else. And that can be said of all the work and all the labor and all the things in our sport. So I hate that mentality. I hate it so much when people are like, oh, the sport needs to remain free. And if you disagree with me and stop watching us, fine, because guess what? Everything in disc golf cannot remain free. And why the middlemen get so much flack is just beyond me. I've never seen someone write to Innova, and maybe they do, but write to an Innova or a Discrafter, an MVP or a Legacy or DD and say, oh, you guys got to stop making money on us. But yet you have no problem berating your local TD who, instead of losing $200 on running the tournament, made $200. That just blows my mind. So, rant partially over. So yes, I think TD should get paid. And guess what? If you're not a good TD, you probably won't get paid in some capacity. If you're not doing a good job, that'll work itself out. You know, it's just, I think like so many other jobs, if you're not doing a good job, you'll get fired or you'll lose your job, or you won't get people that come there. One of those options will happen. If you're a horrible TD, people will not keep coming to your events. If you're horrible through and through. And then you won't get paid. But yes, I think they should get paid. Even though you butchered the winner's name, it's not Mando like in disc golf. It's short for Armando.
So maybe it's Mondo.
Mondo?
Yep.
Yeah, we would have had no way to know that.
Yeah.
Right?
Correct. We have no way of knowing
that. But
Armando,
congratulations for your win. I'd like to know the lowest. This is a Smashy question, or really probably a Chuck or somebody with the database access. The lowest rated A-tier winner in time. Open. Who had the lowest rating at the time of the win? Because what'd you say? He was like 968?
Yeah.
Like, that's
There's
pretty...
got to have been a few A-tiers that just didn't draw that would have a winner. So
yeah, maybe, but 968 is, I mean, like a 980 guy swooping in having a great weekend, but a 968, that's
Disc Golf Nerd asks, do you think there should be a rule against temp courses for National Tour and big A-tier events? I feel like they should only really use quality established courses. No, I don't think there should be a rule, but I do think that they should be vetted by a third party or a second party, depending on who designs it, so that, you know, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a pro. It could be it could be a PDGA official. It could be a PDGA person, directly, you know, an actual employee of the PDGA. But I just think you need to maybe run through it. Now, I'm sure that is in direct response to the Ledgestone. So I don't know. Like I said, I think more people had an issue with Ledgestone than I did after going through some of those holes. I know there was a couple, and we're not going to rehash it, but talking to Nate, he said he's kind of addressed that. So,
wow, yeah, and I guess I did miss the whole conversation about some of the just Euros in general, German, Swedes, whatever, being a little bit more blunt and direct. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that everybody loves both about Regna, but you get even more out of UC, but also even audibly out of Simon. Like he pretty much says what's on his mind. I think his accent helps him get away with a little more. We talked about that this weekend.
Yeah.
And I'm working on kind of a special series that I'll be working on with Simon in the future. But some very, very funny stuff that's out there. As someone had said, not necessarily as PC, but it certainly makes for some good conversation out there for sure.
William Buckley asks, who likes the ropes at USDGC? I think a lot of people like the ropes at USDGC in spots. I don't think you could ask a single player and they wouldn't have an issue with a specific spot on that course. I think everybody has an issue somewhere.
Sure.
Whether it's hole 17, hole 18, hole 2, hole 5. I think depending on who you ask, someone's going to have an issue somewhere. You're never going to please everybody. But I think the ropes do help that particular course. And it's a unique event.
Yeah. No. Correct.
Regarding rules and playing and everything, and the performance edition and whatnot. So, yeah.
I'm continuing to read through here to try and get caught up, guys. I apologize. Sugar Free had also asked, should a TD, and he uses the quotes, a TD, I would refer that as a tournament director, profit from Ace Race, Trilogy Challenges, and things like that. MVP has one as well. Yeah, I don't know why not. If they're taking registrations, they're organizing, they're probably putting some money up front. They're probably organizing the course, maybe setting up or altering the course. They have to deal with people weeks leading into it while they're there, and they're taking some risk and challenges, and they're giving up probably their whole day to do it. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't disagree with that. And if they are profiting, again, it's probably comes out to less than a couple bucks an hour once they really add up all the hours that they put into it. So I don't think there's any problem there.
Sure. Someone asked, is there a tournament that Johnny V would like to go to and host and have Terry at the helm in Wisconsin? I don't exactly know what that means.
Me running the show and you going and being on site.
Oh, so like an event. So flip-flop
our roles, basically.
Our roles for a Wisconsin event.
Would you love to go? Well, I don't know if does it say, it does say in Wisconsin, I guess. I don't know why.
Northwoods.
Oh, no. I think he means, no. I just think they mean with me being home, and maybe you're outside of Wisconsin and beyond.
Oh.
With me back at the helm in Wisconsin.
So not broadcasting?
So yes. No. So us just flipping roles.
Flipping roles.
Regardless of where it is. It doesn't have to be a Wisconsin tournament.
Oh, that's
no, because I think he's...
Oh, at the helm in Wisconsin.
Yes, meaning I stay here and you go somewhere else.
Yeah, that was... Okay.
Is there an event that you would like to go cover?
Trying to think of events.
I mean, I get all the glory.
You get all the glory.
Me and Bernie. And
possibly Masters Cup, because I haven't been to that course.
Which we can't do live, but yeah.
Correct. Yeah, this is all fictional anyway. So
yeah, sure.
Maybe Beaver State.
Okay. Which
we can't do live.
I know.
But those are places you have been that I haven't. Most of the other courses I've been to at least at one point, in our young career, and visited and hung out at and whatnot. So probably La Mirada. That's the one course that I haven't been out to yet.
Okay.
I know there's La Mirada and there's also Masters Cup, which is De La Viega.
Okay.
I've been to De La. I've not been to La Mirada. So any course at La Mirada or any event at La Mirada would be fun for me, because it's one of those iconic courses that I just haven't been to yet.
Okay. And that one we could probably do something live out there.
Yeah.
It would be funny for us to have a little role reversal. Obviously, I would there's things that you would struggle with, I would struggle with, simply because we're in such a routine.
Yeah.
I think we could both probably, for the most part, pick up each other's skill sets. It would just be
and I'll be the first to say, you will pick this up a little faster than I'll pick up commentating.
Why do you think that?
Because I think with commentating, it's a much more of a soft skill.
Okay.
And something like this, which is a hard skill, is not hard as in difficult, but hard as in hard, like physical. It's easier once you get what you need to do.
It's just a matter of repeating.
It's a matter of repeating, doing it.
Okay.
There's one or two little quirks that you have to work around on occasion. Whereas of commentating is so much more of a soft skill. Coming up with something coherent, which you do most of the time.
Most of the time, not all the time.
Most of the time, something coherent to say at all times is I think tougher, especially for me. I'm not usually the one in front of the camera. What I really, 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 God, do I wish I could get this. I would love to go back to the Worlds in Santa Cruz and be able to view that video where I did commentating for Disc Golf Planet.
Sure.
Because I did 2 or 3 rounds of that, and I know I got better as I did it. The one thing I know I'll be really mad at myself for is I remember those courses being so dusty. Like, it was just, there was no grass. Everything was dirt until the final day.
Yeah, we were out. That was at Pinto.
At Pinto. And I remember just it being so dry and me sniffling a lot. And I remember a couple people commented like, dude, you were like sniffling. And I'd try to hold the microphone away, but a lot of times it'd be... And it bothered people, and it would bother me now.
Yeah.
But I thought I did an okay job in it, and there's no way. I've looked on Disc Golf Planet. There's no way to go back to view that.
Really?
I'm sure
Nowhere. It
I
may or may not be out there.
I can't find it anywhere.
Okay.
And it might be that Doozler has it somewhere and it's just not available for people to watch. But if it's out there and someone knows of where it is, I'd be really ecstatic to see it.
Huh. Yeah, so Johnny V had done some commentating. That was the 2011 Worlds out in Santa Cruz. That was an event where I really wasn't part of the Disc Golf Planet, hosting crew in that sense.
You
were
were
out
playing.
there. I was competing and taking the last cash spots, which I was really happy about. And yeah, you had stepped in because you knew you were going to have a role.
I knew I was going to have a role.
You thought it was going to be more on the technical side.
Yeah, because that was the very first event where we used the Live U.
Yes, which is a backpack type setup.
Which is a backpack setup that you rent, and it was actually my idea. Said, hey, I pointed this out to whatever and said, hey, they've got this technology that I think could work for us. And then my job was going to be more or less to be a PA, carry a backpack while T. Roddy did camera work.
Mm-hmm.
But for whatever reason, I think T. Roddy was going to do the announcing too, and he at some point just said, I don't want to do this. and because he was doing camera work.
Oh, okay.
So I remember saying, well, I'd like to try it. You might as well have something out there. And I vaguely remember, and I remember the courses too, because I remember watching Bradley Williams in a skirt. And it'll never.
Yeah, at Ryan Ranch.
Out at Ryan Ranch. And I remember watching, who is it? I can't remember his name now. Slightly older guy, in the upper ages of Open at the time.
Okay.
I think you played with him even. And I remember that course. I remember walking back and forth, and it was a sweltering heat on this what felt like a desert.
Yeah.
and just going back and forth.
Plus
and
hills.
Yeah, and plus hills, and just hiding under every little bit of shade I could get. And commentating, and I would love to go back and listen to that because I'm sure I'd be embarrassed.
Well, there's, it's always interesting. I know we talk about commentating a lot, and that is interesting. You should come out to Beaver State, I think was one of the questions.
I would love to, because it's one of those events we can't cover live, so there's no reason for me not to go out there. Wow, I kind of just sliced my hand open.
Good job. Way to be playing with stuff.
I didn't totally play.
And the funny thing is that you did it with some of the new equipment.
Yeah.
That's weird on a plastic piece. Tommy, I believe, had asked. Oh, did you do it on the inside?
No, I didn't.
That looks really sharp.
No, I did it on the outside. It's a little cut.
Our pal Tommy had asked something about, if Johnny, you could scroll up just a tad. He had said something about advancements. What has been one of the big steps forward in disc golf in recent years, and what do you think will need to happen for a new leap forward? I think a lot of people will echo it, and I'm sorry if it sounds
minis
canned response, but the manufacturers, seeing so many more manufacturers get into it, has forced the hand of manufacturers to get more competitive with their sponsorship packages. There's no doubt about that, and I'll attribute a lot of that to when Prodigy entered the market. They really shook up the sponsorships that were taking place out there, and now even after they've been here now for a couple of years, and we're seeing other players like a Ricky Wysocki who's moved on from Prodigy, but that gave him so much more leverage, and then more companies were able to fight for players and pay these players. And seeing our friends over at Legacy step into the market, and an MVP and all of DD, Trilogy, Westside all become more announced. Yeah, I don't know why I'm playing.
You're doing the exact same thing I did, and I cut my finger open.
All right, so I'm gonna stop that. So I think that's the biggest thing we've seen, and what will we see to see it grow? And what we need to get a little bigger. I'm gonna still say what everyone else has echoed. We need some legitimate outside sponsors.
Yeah,
that's.
And there's 1,000
That's the next big step to a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of solutions to problems, but
we're working on that.
Yes, we are, and hopefully we'll have some stuff for you guys. But I think just big sponsors, and look at us. We've had 5 or 6 clips on ESPN related shows or products or sites this year. I'm still not rich. I'm in the media, disc golf media world. I'm still not rich. We've had 6 clips on ESPN, and we're so privileged and honored to say we were one of them. And everybody says, let's get on more TV. So, your ESPN, #1 even on ESPN.
I've said it before.
Paige isn't rich yet, and she was #1 on ESPN.
I'm over TV. I mean, it's it's such well, I'd like to say yesterday technology, but really it'll be yesterday technology in about 5 to 10 years, in that everything's gonna be delivered over specific channels, like or apps, or you know, the Reed Hastings, the CEO from Netflix, said by 2030, I think he said, there will be no TV. Everything will be delivered over IP. So you won't even, if you want to watch, you know, Top Chef, you're not going to know that it's on Bravo, or you're not going to know what channel Bravo is. You'll just know, oh, Top Chef. Hey, TV, find me Top Chef, and it'll say, oh, this is a Bravo show, or it's produced by XYZ, and it'll show it to you. So that's going to be one thing. So I'm so over TV. It's cool to be on SportsCenter, don't get me wrong, because that is still the hub of all things sports. But, and it may be for the next 50 years, but
it'll be delivered in a slightly
different way. So opinions on fantasy disc golf, just like my opinions on fantasy anything, I'm a fan. I don't play any. I know I designed it. It's kind of made me, now that fantasy play fantasy disc golf, or whatever the website was, is basically non-existent. My understanding is it's not really, no one uses it. I know there's still some manual fantasy stuff going on. It's maybe want to kind of dive back in and say, can I do something? I just don't have the gumption. Like, it would be one of those things, and there's been a few in my history where I'd get it going and then just kind of abandon it, just like they did. It's a lot of work and a lot of manual dealings. If there is, but now I'll say this, with Steve Gans at the helm of the technology side, there could be a better way to integrate with the PDGA, because that's really what it comes down to. The biggest issue that people run into, and that I ran into, was really, I'll say the two biggest things. One, someone emailing me at like Saturday morning at 4 a.m. saying, hey, I forgot to get my picks in, and I know the event doesn't start for another 3 or 4 hours. Can you put these in for me manually? Because I would always have it shut off at Friday night or something. And the other thing is people emailing me when I ran it and said, oh, do you know if Barry Schultz is playing in this event? Like, no. Is he on the pre-reg list? Then why would I know? And at the time, Barry was a Wisconsin guy, and a lot of times I did know, but people would email you and ask you, like, oh, is so-and-so playing this event? Is so-and-so? Because they're not in the pre, then it's like, then no. Then you can't. And we're much better when I did was like 6-7 years ago. We're much better now with pre-reg and PDGA.com, that it's a lot easier.
Correct, yeah. It's more up-to-date, so it's a little bit easier to check those types of things out. Earlier, I believe it was William Buckley, had asked if I have any tattoos. I do not. Someone this weekend was at the Fall Festival, or Fall Fest, at Smuggler's Notch, and she works in a gym, but she's also a starting tattoo artist, and I was thinking, well, I'd rather have an experienced one.
Yeah, what? I mean, no, I'm brand new, Terry.
Yeah. So, but she had, I forget her name, Laura or Lauren, had asked, and I said no, and she was kind of giving me like a hard time about it. And I always thought, yeah, I'll get one. It'll be disc golf related at some point.
I said the same thing.
Yeah. So Johnny nor I actually have any tattoos. So
we've checked each other.
Jason also asked, will we look back in 10 years and secretly wish the sport was small again? I think there's a lot of people that say that now, and they're usually your, I don't want to just say your recreational player, probably nobody that's listening to our podcast, for instance, really, but I think the guys or gals, but the guys that have 4 discs and a 12-pack of beer and don't even know what the PDGA is and don't care what the PDGA would be, that go out and play, and they're used to playing 36 holes and barely seeing anyone, I think they're the ones, to stereotype, I think they're the ones that really will be more mad about the growth of the sport, more than anyone. And maybe all of us will be at some point when you're paying for either all of your rounds, or there's an hour wait on every hole at every course around the country. Maybe at that point there'll be a little bit more frustration, but I'm playing less now, so a lot of those things don't impact me the way they used to.
Yeah.
What else are we seeing on there? I think something about there are a good number of high schools and middle schools and churches that have courses. Yeah, that's true, Durko. I'm not sure what the context of that.
I think it was that, one of the big concerns, especially with, some of your major sports now, is like collisions and concussions. And,
sure.
you know, football. I was just thinking, a friend of ours posted a picture of his son playing football, and all I kept thinking is, I don't know if I want my kid playing football.
Oh, you're such a...
Yeah, like...
You're one of those.
My boy is big. Like, he's tall. He's going to be he's going to go through his wiry stage like I did, but put it this way, he could probably be a really good tight end. That's the type of build and whatnot he's going to have.
Because he's only 6 right now.
He's only 6 right now, but
and he could play for some.
He could play for a couple of the crappy teams out there. He could play for the Bears for sure.
Hey-o.
But they just did a study saying that of, like, I believe, let's say there was 92 professional athletes that donated their brain to research.
Okay.
Like 91 of them had like CTE, which is more or less long-term concussion issues. And I think that's not just from the NFL, from the 3 to 5 or 7 years they played. That's probably building up from the time they started playing in Pee Wee to, you know, taking constant hits like that. And I think it's a real big issue right now, especially with a lot of parents and a lot of schools, all these concussion things. And I'm not going to foresee the death of the NFL anytime soon. They are a billion-dollar organization, but you're going to see a lot of the parents that I'm friends with, they're looking at, you know, football and going, I don't know if I want my kid to play that. And I think you're seeing a lot more of that. So until they can figure something out.
Is that hypocritical that you'll base so much of your life and entertainment on watching football players, but you don't want your own child doing it? Is that at all hypocritical?
No. I mean, do you want your kid base diving, but yet you'd sit and watch a video of some guy base diving?
I'm asking, like,
but yeah, I enjoy the sport.
You enjoy the sport and want all this entertainment, as long as it doesn't hurt your kid.
Sure. Yeah. Like, again, they know the consequences going in now. 10 years ago, you might not be able to say the same thing. Even maybe 5 years ago, I don't know. But it is. So I think that's why maybe you're going to see some sports, and this kind of rolls into disc golf. Maybe that's why you're going to see some sports like disc golf maybe take a step forward because it's a non-contact, non-injury prone event.
Sure. No, that's certainly possible. You know, there's always safety concerns and whatever, the all too obvious, you know, park and design concerns, and hopefully nobody's referencing that. But yeah, get a good quality designer and make sure that somebody's not getting hit by a disc either, because that can obviously hurt.
And William Buckley says it's the pussification of America. Where's Trump when you need him? I don't necessarily think that's true. I think we just know more now about the human body, and we are learning things as we go. Now, if someone said they had a surefire way to reverse all concussion symptoms, no problem. Like, you know, like a boop. Oh yeah, you took a concussion. Guess what? You're fixed now. I think this all changes. But
well, it sounds like something you should be working on.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
But right now there is nothing like that, and these guys now are going in, and it's also, I mean, this is getting way deep. It's also a different sport than it was 15, 20, 25 years ago. Players are bigger, faster, they hit harder. The equipment is that much better, where people are more likely to risk their bodies because they're thinking they're not going to get hurt. I've got all these pads. I've got this nice helmet. I have no problem running full speed into a guy. 20 years, 30, 40 years ago, that might not have been the case. So I think it's a balance there, and I hope that disc golf can take that and move forward with it. But who knows? It might not.
The Bears still suck, right?
Yes, they do. Yeah. Not only that, but their quarterback has a little leg problem. He won't play for a few weeks.
Too easy here in Wisconsin to rip on our rival Bears.
Our friends from the South.
Yeah, disc golf becomes religion in Texas instead of football. That might take a while, but there's certainly.
And I'm not gonna. Yeah, like Terry said,
if
I'm not
there's
gonna
a
lie.
place for it to happen, that would be that could be the place with how many courses and people play disc golf in Texas.
I love watching football. It's a great sport, and these guys do put their bodies at risk every time, you know, they go out on the field, and I still enjoy it. And that's part of why I enjoy it, is that there is a sense of risk to it.
Jason says he never got hurt sitting on the bench. Nor did I, Jason. I'll say this. Back in high school, I had played football junior high, and then also played on the JV team going into my sophomore year of high school. I believe it was junior year, I quit playing because I was so much more interested in disc golf. It just, to me, and I wasn't that great of a football player. I was okay. But to me, I just wanted to consume every minute I could. I was one of those fortunate people that got into disc golf that early. And I didn't need a team. I didn't need to worry about this or that. I could just go out and play it whenever I wanted. So that was really more of the draw to me. And I got all my other friends into playing it as well. So I'm a big fan of team sports. I played all of them growing up. It was right around that time I found disc golf. And I was like, I can go out and play this all the time. And I didn't need to worry about all the, all the other things that went along. But I still loved all the team sports for all the things they still, taught you. So.
Sure. And it's not the risk, because I'd let my kid play baseball, and you have not just as much, but you have a chance to take a fastball to the head.
Yep.
You have a chance to, slide into somebody incorrectly and hurt your head, but the chances are much slimmer.
Correct.
Football is based around, hey, I'm going to put my head down, I'm going to run my head into more or less into you and try to push you out of the way, or whatever it might be. So, and on one last note,
Durko,
William,
you hurt yourself throwing disc. You're just
a lot of people have. William Buckley just says we needed science to tell us that contact sports can hurt you. No, but the difference is everyone knew contact sports could hurt you, break bones, pull ligaments. There was less of a knowledge that it could hurt you long term. People just thought,
in the noggin.
Or in the noggin. Like, people might just think, okay, I'm going to walk with a limp the rest of my life. There's a good chance. Or if you're Marcus Allen, I might have one less finger.
Sure.
But to know that, hey, guess what? This could literally cause you death by the age of 50 because your brain is swelling, or we don't even know all the things that can happen with the brain. It's such a weird thing. So,
could you make the analogy to? I don't even know if I want to go there. Make the analogy, though, to like current day vaping. Like, everybody thinks it seems to be fine, but it will be 5 or 10 years before we really find out effects.
Possibly.
And I know the board could light up with 100 people that say it's super safe, and 100 people could say it's super dangerous. But
it could be.
In 5 years, we'll really know.
We should know more in 5 years or 10 years or whatever it may be. That it could be not as bad as smoking, but still bad. It could be, I doubt it, worse than smoking. And I think I would hope that people that, what I don't want to see, and we're really going off topic here. I love this. What I really don't want to see is in like 10 or 15 years, some big class action lawsuit against some vaping company. Be like, well, I didn't know all the problems that could have come. You said it was safe.
Yeah,
it's like, no. And, no one, I don't think anyone's really saying it's safe. People are just saying it's...
Oh, no, plenty of people are saying
really?
It's safe.
It's like, I think I always hear it's safer than cigarettes.
That's one of the assumptions out there.
You're still putting something in your body that probably doesn't belong there, and then it's coming out.
It's all natural, man.
Yeah. And...
oh, God, people are going to light up.
I know, it's going to light up, but that's what I don't want to see. People...
Neither Johnny V nor I smoke cigarettes or do any kind of vaping, so... Yeah. We're not trying to pick on you, but it's one of those things that time has to still tell.
Yeah, we could find out.
That was my point.
Yeah.
But I'll say this. A lot of people do say, they talk about the natural ingredients and all those things. I've got good friends, really good close friends that are avid, adamant vapors. And I don't want cigarette smoke blowing on me. I don't want your cherry fresh lemon squeezed strawberry concoction juice vape smoke blown at me either. It smells better than cigarette smoke, but that was just in your mouth, and now you're blowing it all over me.
William Buckley says he drinks vape juice like a fish. Is he going to die? No, actually, I heard it's good for you. I put some in my smoothie in the morning.
Anyway,
Primo.
Again, we don't need to get all attacked because I'm sure we're setting ourselves up for a vape discussion. Good stuff.
Yeah. I mean, disc golf has its injuries. You see people. You hear all the time people pulling their back. They slip and they'll maybe pull a groin. Usually, it's backs and groins.
Those are common.
Those are very common. Occasionally at elbow, like tennis elbow, people will get a rotator cuff on occasion if you tend to throw a lot of overhands or just have maybe some poor form. I'm glad I don't throw hard enough to hurt myself.
So you think? There was a question by my pal Christina a little earlier that said something about at 43. I wanted to, Christina, big time smashy there, wondering how early is that when she was.
Is Terry? I think she's talking about whatever story you had. Is Terry 43? Like 43 years old?
Simmer down there, Christina. Simmer down. That's all I'm gonna say.
You're looking a little. You got the crow's feet.
I was. It was a rough weekend coming home. I know it's a rough weekend in Vermont, but I admit I didn't sleep very well, which had nothing to do with the weather conditions. I didn't sleep very well while I was out there, and then I traveled on a couple planes yesterday, and then had a 2-hour drive. So yeah, I'm not feeling 100% today yet. I'll admit that.
Yeah, Josh Swan says people pull their backs and groins just getting up off the couch, and it's true. I know because I pulled the back of my muscle lifting my kid into a tub, just twisting wrong. You can do it anywhere, and I'm not by any means saying that disc golf is unsafe. All I'm saying is that you can get hurt playing, but you can get hurt doing anything. Whereas, the football argument that I told our friend Steve, I'm like, I don't know. And he's like, oh, dude, you could get a concussion doing anything. Like, no, I'm not.
You're not gonna get a concussion.
You're not gonna get you playing disc golf probably,
or you're probably not.
The odds of it are so much less.
You're not gonna get a concussion probably on the debate team. Let me tell you.
And that's probably where my kid will end up, or the math team.
No, Josh, I did not have too much Nate Doss beer. However, it was. I'll clarify, or expand.
Did you like the beer? I know you're not much one for craft beers.
Yeah, I'm not a hardcore. I was gonna say foodie, but I'm not a hardcore beer connoisseur. So I feel like you could probably line up 3 or 4 similar craft beers, and I may not be able to tell the difference. But I can tell the difference in Mountain Dew. We had that discussion last couple weekends ago.
Where I was going.
But yeah, it was good. I'll say this for everyone that is dare I say a beer snob or a real beer enthusiast, it got rave reviews.
Good.
Everybody loved it.
Good.
Not one person, and I was
would they
away
say
from
if they
Nate.
didn't?
Yeah, I think they would.
Okay.
But a lot of people loved it. It was a session IPA, which I learned what that even was. It was a session IPA. Nate had talked a lot about the design of the can and the collaboration and working with Fiddlehead. Fiddlehead's a very respected brewery out there. And it's just really an amazing story. I like myself, I don't have to know a lot about craft beer or even care much about craft beer, but the story as a whole was just awesome to see.
Yeah, it's great, and I would even think about having a sip of one. And I don't drink beer. I don't like it. It just never sits well. I'd have a sip of one just to say I did.
Yeah,
and I'd love a can just to have put somewhere.
I can make that. I can make that happen.
You can make that happen. I'll let you drink it. And then I'll have the can. It'll go right next to my bottle.
It was very well received this weekend. Again, 400 cases made. I know they immediately on the very first night sold 300 of those cases. And I had people hitting me up from all over, actually. Our good pal Dana. I had Steve Fern from Illinois.
Really? Yeah.
Mike Barnett from Florida. A lot of people hitting me up saying, hey, help me out. Try and get me a way to get some of that. So if you're local or semi-local to me, where there's a handoff that could happen, we could probably find a way to make it happen. As
some good markup in that, aren't you?
300%.
Nice.
Hashtag disc golf rich. Yeah, it was very, very well received. Again, understable. Next year, he's talking about making it stable. It might be a double IPA, and yeah, so that's possibly the plan.
A triple IPA overstable.
We'll see.
Get buzzed.
Baja Fresh Mountain Dew, best flavor. Absolutely not, William. Old school, traditional.
So
regular.
The discussion we had when we were up north was that Terry believes that he can tell the difference if I go into a gas station and buy a 2-liter of Mountain Dew, if I buy a 1 liter of Mountain Dew and a 1.5 liter of Mountain Dew,
or a 20 ounce,
or 20 ounce, whatever, and I pour them into cups.
Yep.
That he could tell me the difference between each one, which one came out of which bottle. And I said, bull. There's no way you could do that. And he swears up and down. Now, we're leaving fountain drinks out of this because fountains are unique in that
they're almost always obvious.
It's always obvious. It's a water to syrup ratio, and it could change, restaurant to restaurant. But, so that's the whole thing. But he believes he can tell the difference between a 2 liter, a 20 ounce, and a 1 or 1.5 liter, whatever they are. So I called BS, and I think we should someday have line up a whole bunch of cups and have a blind taste test and see.
I would be a funny thing to try.
It would. At best, I would love to see you be able to tell me, even if you couldn't tell me which one they came out of, if you could tell me which ones were different, like, oh, these 3 came from the same container, these 4 came from the same container. Because you might not be able, you say you can, but even if you couldn't tell the difference between the 2-liter and the 20 ounce, but at least you could tell me which ones are different. I don't even know if you could do that.
And let me, it's not, this all stems, this is such intriguing conversation.
This is what people want, though. I think people enjoy this.
Silly. This all stems from a carbonation perspective.
Correct. You think that there's a carbonation
not
difference.
As much actual taste, but from a carbonation perspective as to how I think that they taste differently. And because I've said countless times, a 20 ounce tastes way better than a 1 liter. It just does. I don't know how else to say it. It just does. And this is all an indication that I drink way too much Mountain Dew. I have in the past. It's been like an addiction. Someday I will quit. I've been trying for years. Someday I will I will quit again. And that'll probably be in the time when I lose some weight. But
Sugar Free says it's a carbonation mixture, more carbonation in less ounces. And that's just it, though.
That's what your argument was.
My argument
they don't change up carbonation, and I think they do.
I said I don't know if they change up carbonation, or if it's just, if that's part of the mixture or what. I said I don't know, but I don't think you can tell the difference.
Durko, shut your mouth. Yes, if it's
it's a ration of high fructose corn death.
Yeah. I'm not. Trust me. If there's one clear major vice that I have in life, it's Mountain Dew.
Sure.
I mean, I'm not denying that.
No. Someone asked, "What's my favorite browser?"
Oh yeah.
Google Chrome, baby.
Yeah. Gosh. That's such an easy one.
It is. I mean, Chrome is the way.
How is Safari? Is Safari?
Safari's Mac only.
Yeah, but
so
do you like it?
I don't ever use it.
Okay.
I unless something weird happens in Chrome and something doesn't work, I'll pull up Safari, but very rarely. I haven't touched Internet Explorer in a while, even though our company has to use it for certain programs. For certain older websites. We have some mapping issues with websites that have to happen. But I've heard Firefox is doing really great things, and I should really get back into it, because the problem with Firefox years ago was it became such a fat browser that it was slow, and Chrome is kind of getting to that, where it's a little slower than it should be, I think, and Firefox is lean and mean now. So, so we'll see.
I agree. There are worse things to be addicted to. There are many other, there could be.
Yep.
Like math. I mean, let's face it.
I mean, Mountain Dew isn't far from math.
No, I guess I've heard. And it's funny, just to put it on record, since we're in a full Mountain Dew conversation. I don't drink Mountain Dew for the caffeine at all.
No.
I'm a very late night kind of guy, and whatever. Like, I don't drink it like, I need to drink Mountain Dew to wake me up. I drink Mountain Dew just because I love the taste of it, which is maybe a worse reason, but
yeah,
I love the taste of it. I don't
because
drink it as
if you drank it for another
thing.
Reason, you could replace that. Like, I'll take a coffee, or I'll take a little 5-hour energy drink or something. But no, you like the taste of it.
Yeah, and I'll say I've had very few like Rockstars and Red Bulls don't seem to do anything like a Rockstar and some of those other things. Like, those things get me wired, and that's funny coming from a Mountain Dew guy, but those things get me wired. And when an energy drink is getting me like genuinely wired, I gotta, and I'm hooked on Mountain Dew. I gotta wonder what the hell's in one of those. Like,
my coworker, my assistant, he walks in the morning and he's got like some NOS drink, and I don't know if it's an energy drink. I've never really looked at it, or if it's a recovery drink or whatever they are. But I always think like, ugh, like I couldn't do that.
Yeah, I can't imagine having one. Coming from a Mountain Dew guy, I can't imagine having like Marty Gregoire literally drinks like 2 to 4 to 5 or 8 Rockstars a day.
Yeah, not my thing.
I feel like he's gonna explode.
Josh says he feels like you're explaining his life right now.
Well,
someone wanted to change the subject back to disc golf.
No, seriously?
And asked, what is the best disc to start a new adult or a child with? And I'll say this: there is no best disc. There are similar
molds. There are molds with every company that are great to get you going.
I say, personally, a putter. Get them for a child. Get them a 150 class putter. My kid throws a 150 class putter, and he throws it pretty well. I do also give him a like a 160 I had a really old 160 Gazelle that I gave him, but just a straight flying light disc is really good as well. Whether that's a Leopard or a Sidewinder or I don't know
a diamond.
A diamond. I don't know.
A
the
diamond
trilogy
would
stuff
no. A diamond is a great
so,
disc that I'll hand off to people if it makes the right sense for them and or the color or whatever that they want to. But a diamond is certainly a great disc. You know, and then when you're talking mids, you know, one of the reasons why I think a Stratus, for instance, can be so popular is because it has such a small rim.
Yeah, it's easier to grip. People
Comets are great, rocks are great, sharks are great. You know, a Truth can be great. Like all of those variations, all can be great. But one thing that's specific to, I'll say either like a Stratus or a Cobra is they have, or a Stingray, is those mid ranges, generally understable, have just really low profiles and really shallow rims to them. So small hands can be really useful. If it's a 45-year-old adult male that's, you know, 6'6", well, then maybe something a little beefier like a Comet or a Shark in their hands might feel better as opposed to a smaller rimmed Stratus, for instance. I'll use that one as an example.
Back to important stuff. William Buckley asks if you've seen Ben Harper's cover of the whole Taylor Swift album.
Oh, wow.
I'm not personally a big fan of Ben Harper. I like one or two of the stuff that I've heard, but I do know Ryan Adams did a whole cover of her 1989 album, and I haven't heard yet, and so I'm interested in that because I'm a big Ryan Adams fan. So
we'll have to check that out. There was I just saw real quickly. There was a comment made about like, you know, there's sugar-free sodas. You know, we all know it. Everyone will then argue that aspartame's going to kill you.
Yeah.
You know, and all the things that are found in diet sodas. So for what it's worth, whatever.
Flip a coin.
Nobody should be drinking any soda. Let's be real. I mean, I think that's what's the takeaway here is you never ever should be drinking any kind of soda, really. But I don't live by that.
Right. You shouldn't speed either, or roll through red lights. We all do. Not we all, but a lot of people do it.
Thanks for the input. Nice. I got that time one. Kind of nicely worked in a rock. Yeah, there's so many different mid ranges. Honestly, all companies make them. Somebody had asked. Here's a question. Somebody had asked, which I'm not gonna answer, but I'll bring to light. Somebody had just asked, "What's the Nickelback company of disc golf?" I'm not gonna answer that because they might be a sponsor of ours someday. Whoever they may or may not be. And I'm not out to offend any particular company. Everybody has their favorites. I think we've proven that we really try to be, I don't want to say neutral, but yeah, kind of neutral and or
agnostic.
We'll favor anybody on any given day. You got a great disc, or you know, we're not going to not show someone getting a 500-foot ace because they're throwing a brand X, Y, or Z. We're not in the position to do that.
There's no reason to. We know, we've said it a dozen times. We'll say it's the Indian, not the arrow.
Yeah, correct.
You know,
I think that's racist now. Non-PC. I'm just gonna guess. Is it somebody?
It's the Native American, not the arrow. No, but when I say Indian, it could be someone from India. So anyway,
I know.
No, I think Paul Macbeth could go out with virtually anybody's plastic and crush.
Yeah,
it's just a matter of you just need a little bit of time to learn it. And all these manufacturers are making quality products.
Yeah.
You know, you could pick any manufacturer and I'll find a piece of plastic of theirs and I say, hey, that's a good disc for someone.
And the conversation was held this week at the Green Mountain.
Can't say the same thing about Nickelback.
That was said this weekend at the Green Mountain Championships amongst a few of the top pros that we were talking with and interacting with, talking about best discs out there. In fact, I think it was on my car ride to the airport with Ricky. And Ricky had said, to our driver, to Jeff, if any given disc works for you and you're not getting paid by that, by any given company, throw whatever works for you. Yeah. And if that means mixing your bag and you literally have 5 different manufacturers in your bag, who cares? Like, until one of those manufacturers says you're good enough for us to pay you something, throw them all.
That's
no reason not to. And Innova's making a lot of the Blizzard and Starlight stuff. Those are all...
somebody asked, what's the stereotypical old man disc? And people are saying Blizzard stuff.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. What are you going to see in most Masters? I would say in most Masters or Grandmasters.
Grandmasters more so, I think. Yeah. And not pro Grandmasters, more...
advanced, stuff like that. You're going to see some of that Blizzard stuff.
I have every nearly manufacturer in my bag. There's like 22 manufacturers if you count
one of each.
Every single
I'm going to make
one
a
of them.
point of having every manufacturer.
Oh, there is a local gentleman. I apologize. I forget who it is now. Oh, no, I do know his name. But anyway, there's a semi-local gentleman to us who has literally every West Side mold in his bag.
Wow. Talk about picking an underdog.
And I don't think he has duplicates of any. So one of every one of their discs. And I'm not picking on Westside. I'm kind of picking on him. That's borderline asinine. You do not need one of every one of their 19 or 22 discs. Like, that's just...
Yeah.
You're doing something wrong. I'm sorry. You're doing something wrong.
Yep.
If you need one of every one of them. It's very tunnel thing, and he's not sponsored by them. Let me clarify.
No, of course
not sponsored by them. That's just a very tunnel focused way to go about throwing and picking your discs. Is feeling like you need one of every one that company makes. It's very, very odd. Cobra, the MVP is the best according to Scott Stokely. That's fine that Stokely thinks that.
Josh Swan brings up a very, very good point, saying, I recently solely went with Innova. I found I was looking at the numbers too much, and there seems to be no regulated standard for flight ratings on discs. Super true.
Yes.
Like
when Westside puts
a 20, I could put a 20 on a disc and say it's a 20 speed. You have no basis of comparison, whether that's a 20 speed compared to my other plastic, a 20 speed compared to somebody else's plastic. There is no set standard, and I believe the flight ratings were all an Innova thing originally.
I believe the quadrant, the four ratings, I believe, and somebody could correct us, but I believe were in fact initially set up by Innova. And so if another manufacturer of any kind comes out with a disc and wants to use those 4 quadrant numbers, like they're doing their best they can to simply compare, because there's no independent team or researcher or study or reviewer that says, oh yeah, this is definitely a speed 7, by these 2 different manufacturers that are speed 7. I agree, and I've said just this weekend.
That's where my disc golf robot.
I said this weekend that, again, I don't think you're ever going to see them all go to 1. I don't think you'll see all of them because they don't want to be compared to each other.
No,
some of them don't.
No, not at all.
Because then when I say, hey, this is my brand new disc, it's a speed 15, and then somebody else goes out and throws it, and they're like, heck no, I throw all my speed 10s further. Yep. That company is going to be like, look like, oh, well, we think it's a speed 15. I don't know. I don't think you'll see that. Discraft, for instance, has a totally different, system.
Yep.
I know there's a chart, like Joe's flight chart by someone who's created different charts. And I know you can check out Inbounds Disc Golf, who tries to then kind of like group them all together and then make their comparisons over at Inbounds, and we appreciate that. But there is no certifiable official flight chart where every single disc falls into that is, that every manufacturer would adhere to or agree to.
My disc golf robot will.
What's that going to do? Throw discs?
It's going to throw discs.
And then tell you?
And then it's going to throw exact speeds, it's going to basically be a pitching machine for discs. And it's going to put the exact same spin, the exact same trajectory. I'm going to load it up. This doesn't really exist, by the way. I'm going to load it up.
It couldn't be that hard to make.
Nah, I'm not an engineering person.
I know, but I mean, you think of like a pitching gun.
Yeah.
That just throws out practice pitches. Alter that to throw a disc. I'd be willing to bet there's been some college students out there through through flights and vacuums and all this other stuff. There's been probably, I bet you if you did some Googling, you could find some flight
because I would
related.
want something that would throw a disc relatively level, about 7 feet off the ground. Oh, in fact, no, hopefully exactly level, same speed, same everything, and then you put 10 of them in there and you figure out where these discs go. And then you could say, by comparison, you have a baseline. This is a speed 7, or this is a speed 1, or this is a speed 10. But again, nobody really wants it. So you could see that, oh, hey, guess what? Innova's speed 7 is the same as Legacy's speed 7 or speed 9 or whatever that may be.
Yeah, I think those are all things that
Yep.
We don't have an independent research or test party that
Correct.
does those, and until we do, and even that, there's gonna, unless they're doing a robot, like you said,
Yep.
you better go trade that, discgolfrobot.com. Go and register that. Until we have that, I think there's going to be a lot of subjectivity, just a ton of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
Yeah, and then as everyone says, sometimes colors do make a difference. So
there you go, exactly, because those pellets have certain densities. They all come in little plastic pellets. They feed into a big hopper that mixes and melts and does all this molding and whatever. How long a disc sits in the molder and all those things can make a world of difference.
Yep. So yeah, it would be tough.
You can get a brand new flat MVP resistor and then go get a different one that's domey, and they may fly totally different. And that's, again, so many of the things that factor into our different discs and the issues and challenges that we're faced with them. Andy says he has 6 white discs by 3 different manufacturers. Okay.
Yeah.
I believe that.
They can do it all in a win.
Yeah.
No, not true. Because you need something to actually throw it. The wind tunnel will tell you aerodynamics of it, but still think you need something to throw it with the correct spin and grip, so to speak. I don't necessarily think the how tight you hold it matters. It's really, that is in exact relation to how much spin you're probably putting on it. So it would have to be the amount, the rotation you get, and the speed you throw it at would have to be unique or identical, so to speak.
Oh, just a little quick check-in. I believe this is Amber from last week's podcast. Who was,
Amber and Adam?
Yes, who was proposed to. And she said that she got a, looks like an Innova mini basket.
Doesn't look like a mini.
Yeah, what? Yeah, it's just, it's all about perspective, bro.
I suppose, yeah.
I got some
I know,
things to show you.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's all about
yeah, no, it is. It's a mini basket.
So excited. We got this in the mail today to display on our wedding cake table, and showing us a mini basket. So that is awesome. I see an Innova box in the background. It looks like I don't know if they ordered it or sent it to her. It would have been, yeah, either way, pretty awesome.
I mean,
so
because initially I looked at the picture and it looks like it's as tall as a couch.
Yeah, it's a little shorter than the couch, but even that, if it comes up to here.
Yeah, but look at the back of the couch. Like it looks like the top of it is at where the back of the couch is.
It's a mini basket.
I believe it.
Okay.
I totally believe it. It's just saying that from the perspective I see.
So that's pretty cool. So again, and we saw that kind of that story resurface again and jump around a little bit on social media. The PDGA sent out a message about it. So congratulations to them. That was pretty cool to see. Talking about throwing, William Buckley says that MVP does not have consistency issues. I can't speak anything to that.
I think William is just being
funny.
Funny.
You know that a true putter speed is completely neutral compared to the flight of something faster and of different stability. Okay, I'll go with that. That's another reason you should be done in a wind tunnel. I don't know about topless disc golf, how that really affects.
I think people tell me to put my shirt back on.
Yeah. Does a batting cage type device exist for discs? Maybe just for testing
No.
as in like throwing straight into a net? Because
I mean, there are.
Or do you mean
driving ranges? But there is not a machine that throws a disc.
Yeah. Yeah, not sure about that one. But I'll say this: one thing we have seen, and this is a very late in the show pro tip. If you do want something to go out and practice, create like a driving range atmosphere. Old batting cage setups, the nets and whatnot. We see one at the private course here in Wisconsin. We've seen nets set up at. I've seen a net set up at both the Maple Hill Open as well as at the Green Mountain Championships. It doesn't take much to either get an old batting cage net or just create a 10 by 10 or some frame, and then put a net into it, and then you can just throw as hard as you want into that net to catch it. So is certainly a good way to go about, getting warm-ups or throwing a bunch of different shots as hard as you want and not having to go out and retrieve them. Do we have a spammer on here?
Yeah, someone tried to spam. I blocked him.
Boom.
Yeah,
you did.
Ban
Boom.
hammer.
Ban hammer.
A skeet shooter. I don't know how that exactly works. I don't know the skeet shooting machine, but
yeah, I'm not.
I was saying I want someone to Photoshop Eagle McMahon.
Okay.
Without any hair, so we can call him the bald eagle.
Heyo.
And put him on like a coin. I think that'd be kind of fun.
Wow, those are the things you think about, huh?
That was earlier. We were chatting about that.
Oh,
so
okay.
I wasn't just No, you missed that. I wasn't just thinking that. That was when Eagle joined the show for a while.
Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's anything else that really had come across our desk, or if there's anything kind of crazy that has taken place. And I can't say that. There is. Wisconsin's got the Wisconsin Disc Golf Tour finale this upcoming weekend. The U.S. Women's, of course, this weekend. The following weekend, I know that the U.S. Amateur Doubles is taking place, leading into the USDGC, of course. I'm interested to see what kind of turnout and what kind of people are going to be signed up for that.
Someone says get Simon a big slingshot for a regular size disc. Kind of like those balloon ones where somebody holds each side and you pull it back.
Yeah, that would be a good way to go about it. Maybe. We could talk about the gentleman that bought the AIDS drug that then jacked up the prices.
Jacked it up 5,000%.
It was only 4,100%. I read an article today that was blown out of proportion. Seriously, like that's basically what the article had said.
Yeah.
Let's not get all too political onto that, but that was pretty.
Sounds like a scumbag. Sounds like a guy. Sounds like a guy who's trying to maximize profits under any circumstances and doesn't care about the PR he's going to get because there's really no other option. Or maybe there is. I don't know. I don't know enough about it, but it seems kind of crappy.
Oh, so. Update, since this is super cutting news. Matt Brody, who's a local gentleman to us, said Scott Stokely is canceling another event in order to be at Root River with us. Oh, okay. Wow, there you go. I'm going to be leading also my normal league night out at in New Berlin. But if you want to go see Scott Stokely, that's where he'll be. All right, I think we're rounding things out. Unless Smashies have any other good stuff, you need to be chiming in with us. I think we've talked to all of the regulars that have also.
Thanks again, everyone, for joining us in the after show. This is we covered a lot. I mean, a spectrum.
Mountain Dew carbonation.
Unplugged. Music.
Yep. Unplugged. What were some of the other things that we talked about?
Some disc golf.
A little bit of disc golf.
Some computer stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess we covered quite a bit.
Yeah.
Oh, no. The Pope's in the U.S. That happened today.
Yep.
This is unrelated, and I was thinking of mentioning this earlier when you were talking about dangerous things and all these different people doing dangerous things.
That's the thing we talked about.
Yeah, concussions. There was a video, and maybe it's old. I don't know. It crossed my news feed today. It was a video of a mountain biker crossing like this enormous valley where he clearly would die. And he was riding his mountain bike across a slack line across these two peaks. It was like a Red Bull commercial. Sure. And my heart was racing, like watching it almost. It was that intense. And all I kept thinking is, what? It's clearly your adrenaline junkies and all that other stuff. But just at what point are you thinking, I need to ride my mountain bike with these like 3-inch tires or 2-inch tires over this 2-inch rope hanging across these two cliff sides?
Yeah, I don't know. And like, I don't know if my heart would race.
It was intense.
But I guess. I mean, knowing that it's probably not live.
No, it was not.
And that
they had tons of cameras on it, though. Yeah, understandably.
Sure, you would probably hear about it if the guy fell. So you got to assume he's going to make it across. But No, I understand, because there's some videos out of Russia of these kids more or less.
Oh my gosh, yeah,
climbing
I've seen a
up
lot of that.
buildings and just like that freaks me out.
That's got to freak because you're not a fan of heights.
I'm not a fan of open heights like that.
Yeah. It's
planes and stuff don't bother me. If I'm up in a glass elevator, I'm good with that. I can go up on a regular ladder up on my roof, no issues. But when you get up like that and it's wide open and you kind of look down, you're like, wow, that's pretty far up there.
Yeah, it's those videos are intense, and I don't know how many people are dying from those. It's hard to have a lot of, I mean, I don't want to see anyone die ever, but it's hard to sympathize when you're up climbing on, the tallest building in Russia, and you're unauthorizingly climbing around on it, to do some videos.
Yeah.
It's hard to sympathize if you...
Yep. Did you see the motorcycle surfing?
I did not.
That was kind of cool. Someone more or less was able to rig up a motorcycle so it could surf, and they filmed it. You'll have to look it up. I only watched a couple seconds of it, but it was pretty cool.
Okay. That definitely sounds like an interesting thing to be doing. Yeah, that's what William has said here.
Yeah, that's what made me think of it.
All right, William, Seti, Josh, Durko, Bean, all some regulars here tonight. Andy Hall.
Andy Hall's a first-timer. He said he enjoyed it.
Thanks, Andy.
Yeah. I'm glad to have you.
Disc Golf Nerd, all being regulars for the most part here. Sugar Free, thank you guys for chiming in.
Are you sugar-free?
No. Ben. Ben earlier had said he got a win. Again, congrats to you, Ben.
Yep. We're building a community. It's kind of fun.
Is this like, what's that game? Sims?
No.
Isn't that what they do there?
Not unless we tell Durko, not unless we lock Durko in a house and just film him and make him do stuff. I mean, we could, but...
I don't know, Durko. You're not far from it, buddy. Something like that. My wife just told me she's okay with coming down there to play around, but maybe she'll just walk and talk. Yeah, get her out throwing some discs is what you should be doing. Next week, again, Jeremy Rusko, possibly EMAC. And we'll have some exciting news and announcements regarding, or that will get talked about next week. So we're excited to have that show. That'll be podcast 55. And USDGC is officially in our site. So we're looking forward to sending you guys some sweet USDGC action. It's going to be weird sending people to Spin TV. Again, all media for the week will obviously be there.
Yep.
But there might be a few tongue slips on my part, the not so good kind.
No, I mean,
where I tell people to, because I'm used to saying, Smashbox check us, that kind of stuff.
Oh, sure.
But, yeah, we're just gonna have to remind everyone that they can, they'll be seeing us on Spin TV for the week. So super excited about that. Snowboard communities, that'll be awesome. You'd see me doing artwork. Putting at my basket, feeding my birds, and watching my stuff.
That's what Durko would do for Sims.
TV.
You've probably never even played Sims or seen
I haven't. That's where you build all these houses and things?
No,
yeah.
No. Sims, there's a difference. Sim City is where you build houses.
Oh, I'm thinking of Sim City.
Sims, it's basically like a microcosm of Sim City. You have one house that you build, and you put people in. When we lived on Kramer together.
Yeah, 1999.
I think it was the first year Sims came out, and I downloaded a copy. I found a free copy online, and I played it for about 3 days and lost interest in it. And it was just kind of like, I'm living my own life. I don't need to live some other little character's life.
Okay, I did. Yeah, I guess I did not necessarily. I'm not mad. I didn't know the difference between Sims and SimCity. I'm okay with that.
That's fine. These are things I know.
Yes, just things you know. Yes, I did not.
But no one plays SimCity anymore, by the way.
No, really?
No, cities now.
The Sims still exist?
Yeah, The Sims just came out like a new version, I think, a couple months ago, or is about to. I don't know. I don't play video games on my computer hardly at all, other than Hearthstone. So,
okay. And
that's like a 20-minute click, click, click game.
I was crushing Sudoku this weekend. I was purposely. I was doing it on the easy setting, but I was doing it in trying to get better my times because it's a timer.
Yeah.
And I know that's not always the point, but that's one way you can challenge yourself within that game. And then of course I conquered some medium version ones, but Sudoku, nobody asked, but Sudoku on my phone is kind of my game of choice on airplanes because I can do it on my phone.
Yeah.
Doesn't require any Wi-Fi or anything of that nature or any internet. If I'm not editing
I like
video footage, Sudoku is my go-to on a phone or on a airplane.
Because if I don't have Wi-Fi, I'm a solitaire kind of guy on my iPad. Solitaire, Spider Solitaire, Free Cell. One or the other. Some card game.
I miss me some Free Cell.
I love me some Free Cell.
Is that on Windows 10? Let's look.
All right, we're going to look at whether or not Free Cell.
Will Cortina tell us?
Free Cell Collection. Oh, that's in the store.
Okay, so I mean, you just have to basically
probably
that's on the web.
Probably download it. I bet you it's filled with ads and whatnot now.
Huh?
No, I've got a version on my iPad.
It's more like
that I play.
Not so Free Cell.
Not so Free Cell.
Still playing Quake. Yes, there was. That is one of the few video games in my life that. Well, that's one of the only computer video games I've really ever gotten into. Was playing some Quake in like 96, 97.
Yeah, it was 97 because we were at the dorms and we loaded up that house.
That was one of the few times that I've ever been really actively involved in any
NBA Jam.
Game. Well, that was
that's a console,
a console game, and very few console games. I can name no more than 5 console games I've ever gotten into in my life, and then really only a couple of computer games ever. And Quake was one of the few. Does Quake still exist?
I don't think so.
I mean, there's got to be a million other games just like it by now.
It was. I mean, it wasn't the first, but it was one of the really early successful first-person shooters. And now you've got Halo and Destiny or whatever they are. But yeah, I don't know if Quake still exists. Yeah, I was a big fan of the Oregon Trail too.
Yes. Second grade for me.
Yeah,
first or second
Mac
grade.
2E.
Mobile SimCity is great. Well, that's good to know. I never figured out Free Cell in the 20 years of using Windows.
Free Cell's so much fun.
It is. I was a big fan of that. I vaguely remember that. Okay, I think she's about ready to call it. I think it's a done deal.
It's actually not even that late of a night for us.
No, it's really not. But I'm ready to go.
No, so am I. I'm fine.
And go home.
I'm fine with you getting out of my house.
I'm fine with leaving here. Simon, I'm surprised Simon didn't chime in. Simon, are you? There's no way you're still out there.
No, I wouldn't.
He's on Facebook.
Yeah.
I was expecting something cocky out of him tonight. I'm not gonna lie.
I wouldn't be surprised if him and Avery abandoned when we had some Skype issues.
That could be possible. Yeah, good. Nice job, Paige Pierce and Paige Pierce and Madison Walker out there doing some fishing and relaxing in Florida, as expected. It looks like you guys are certainly having a good time with it.
Portal is king. I need to get back into Portal 2. I never finished it. I got like a third of the way into it.
What is that?
Portal. It's a video game. It's not a first person. It's a puzzle game. So you basically imagine like you're in like a giant room, we'll say, or a bunch of different rooms, and the goal is to get out of the room, and you have a gun that you can shoot a blue hole and a red hole. If you go into the blue hole, you come out the red hole, and you have to figure out how you can basically get yourself out of the room. It was. I played the first one. It was a lot of fun. I got a little bit into the second one. I just never got around to it. But Portal is so much fun. It's you would probably get hooked on it.
Did you solve it?
I beat the first one. Again, the second one I only got a little bit into.
Look for some pretty. I did get a lot of funny clips, we'll say, throughout the weekend of lots of just funny exchanges and things that took place at the Green Mountain Championships that don't necessarily warrant their own entire blog. So I'm going to be working on some like mini blog releases. But I've got some really, really funny odds and ends, everything from interviews to just on the course stuff. A lot of good odds and ends that hopefully I'm going to get to be able to put together at some point.
The cake is a lie. So
there is a cake at the end.
Portal.
Oh,
don't worry about it.
Okay. Paige with one of the funniest jokes on Facebook that no one wanted to say. I don't think I saw that. But all right, we're gonna call it. We keep threatening it, but it sounds like it's time. So. Here on our podcast after show,
episode 53,
episode 54 it was.
I'll edit that out. No.
Yeah, there you go. After show again, podcast 54. That was Johnny V and myself, Terry Miller, the Disc Golf Guy. We will see you guys sometime this weekend with some USDGC. I will see you sometime this weekend, or you'll see me with some US Women's DGC coverage. And you'll see us next week live right here with Podcast 55. We'll see you next time when you step inside the Smash Box.